Major funding for this program was provided by Friends of Iowa Public Television.
It's the 1989 High School Wrestling Championships. Tonight, from Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines, Iowa, a sellout crowd of more than 12,000 is on hand to witness the 63rd annual high school competition. This tournament started with 624 competitors and now has only 78 left, as this evening 3 team titles will be determined and 39 individual champions will be crowned. I'm Doug Brown with Tim Johnson, and here we are to bring you what we think is the biggest and the best of the high school wrestling tournaments in the U.S. of A.
Well, I agree with you for a couple of reasons at least. First of all, you can't stand here and look at the crowd and feel the excitement without knowing that. Second of all, during our college wrestling series, most of the kids we cover come right out of this tournament.
They do. This year, the only change you might see would be different weight classes. There are still 13 of them, but they're at different levels.
Well, the national standards have tried to put more in the middle because that's where they say more high school kids are, so it's all for the sport.
And we're going to show you tonight those weight classes in a rotation prepared for fairness by the Iowa High School Athletic Association. The first 4 weights will start with the 2As. At 3A, we'll start with the 3 at 130 through 145. We'll have the 1As through 4 classes up to 189, and then we're going to start, we think, with the 3As at heavyweight 275. That doesn't mean we won't cover other things, because we are. And some of the big things that we're going to see this year are the efforts of 3-time champions, maybe.
Right, they're going for their third in the first one. Kent Stryker from a great wrestling family. Going for his third. It's his 4th final. And if he wins tonight, it's number 140, and that'll make him the all-time Iowa High School winningest wrestler.
And Shane Light of Lisbon is also going for number 3.
And only a junior going for his third tonight. If he wins, if he's successful, that sets up a chance to be the 8th 4-timer.
But it's if, because he has a tough one coming tonight. And Stacy Rice is looking for number 3.
A winner as a freshman, a winner as a sophomore, and now going for his third as a senior. He wants it badly. He has a hurt shoulder, but he says, I'll take care of that after I take care of tonight.
We show you those matches that we showed you principally with 2A, then 3A, then 1A, but we also cover a lot of the other matches when some end early, and we keep track of everything through our floor reporters. They are Dean Borg and Dick Trotter. Let's have a word from first Dean.
Well, Doug, you mentioned Shane Light. He goes against a man who wants the title just as badly he does. Light, of course, going for his 3rd straight, as you said, but he is going against a defending champion, Tim Griffin of Lorenz Marathon, last year's champ at 119 in single A. And Griffin, incidentally, has a twin brother who is just a weight class above him, also going for a state championship tonight. My colleague in covering the mat action is Dick Trotter. Dick?
Thank you, Dean. We'll be covering both 3A and 2A competition this evening, and we'll look at one of the feature matches at 112 pounds in 3A with a close eye. There we'll pit 2 Cedar Rapids seniors against one another, as we'll have Lance Paulson of Cedar Rapids Kennedy going for his 2nd title. He won a year ago at 105, and Randy Rowley, who was 2nd last year, tries to win the title. Should be a good one. Now back to you, Doc.
We'll get back to you later, gentlemen. Now let's get down to brass tacks here. You want to know how the teams are standing going into the finals. We're going to show you right now. Starting with the small schools, 1A. What a race.
What an active race. Lisbon jumped off to a big lead early, but Clarksville's been inching their way back up, and I'd say they're almost there. It's going to be decided tonight.
At 2A, Glenwood is doing what they were predicted to do.
They were ranked number 1 coming in. They started off strong, and they've kept it, and they're going to win their state championship.
It's been kind of an interesting day at 3A, but it looks like West Waterloo now.
They're in control right now, but Dowling has 4 in the finals, and the story is, I think, with Dowling and Prairie and West all possibly scoring over 100 points.
And if you want to find out how that young man in your town did in his wrestlebacks, we'll show you all 6 place winners tonight in every class, in every weight. And that's coming up. It's a circus, TJ. We love it. It's the Iowa High School Wrestling Championships coming up in 1 minute here on Iowa Public Television. comes a high crotch move by Hammond, and right to the back. Right to the back. And there it is.
We hope you enjoyed college wrestling on your statewide home for sports, Iowa Public Television.
Hi, I'm Morgan Halgren. In our next Take One, we'll go on location during the filming of Zadar Cow from Hell, a Duck's Breath mystery theater comedy, and attend the world premiere in Iowa City. Visit with playwright Brian McQueen of Fairfield, who creates dramas for the radio, and learn more about famous African Americans as Niambi D. Webster talks about educators. All this and more on Take One this Sunday at 7:30.
We're back at the 1989 High School Wrestling Championships. And now let's join PA announcer Mo Kelly for tonight's opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's State High School Wrestling Tournament time again. And it's time now for the annual Grand March of Champions. Here they are, some of the finest young athletes in this country of ours, the top 6 place winners in each weight class in each of the 3 respective classes. How about a big welcome for these fine young athletes? The Grand March is being led by Algona's Martin brothers, Dave and Paul, owners of 5 individual state championships as preps at Algona High.
And there they go, some of the state's finest. One of the nice things about wrestling, Tim, as I've often said, is that you can be any size. And you can go out there and be a state champion or a top 6.
Well, that's why I like the 3 classes also, because what it's all about is competition and participation, and it certainly happens in the state of Iowa.
And all these young men will remember this very much. You hear wrestlers have been around for a long time, as the Martin brothers have, remembering this Grand March.
Well, I saw in their faces a lot of excitement, the Martin brothers. They're very excited about leading this march, and of course, they're going to be even more excited probably about going into the Hall of Fame. It's really exciting to have them back in the state.
More than 12,000 people here. This has been, they tell me, the biggest 4-session event coming into the night that they've ever had. More people here than at any previous state tournament.
Wrestling is certainly alive in the high schools of the state of Iowa. Especially at towns like Lisbon and other towns all over the north, Algona, northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest. It's grown in every part of the state, Doug, in the last 20 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, the colors of our nation will be advanced by the East High Color Guard and the Color Guard Drummers, East High of Des Moines. This outstanding group was named the #1 Color Guard in the Midwest earlier this month. Ladies and gentlemen, please join in the singing of our national anthem. It will be played by Bill Henderson at the organ.
Until they say to take it.
The Des Moines East Color Guard brought the flag out, and they really toss those rifles around, don't they?
Well, they convinced me that they're one of the best in the nation.
There you see Dave and Paul Martin of Algona High School in the past. Tonight's Grand March escorts, who together claimed 5 state titles, 1 national title. Dave on the right won that, and 5 All-American finishes. And tonight they'll join their legendary father, Champ Martin, in the Iowa Hall of Fame. And earlier, Tim visited with the Martin brothers.
Family tradition plays a big part in wrestling, especially in Iowa high school wrestling, and the Champ Martin family of Algona is no exception. We're honoring tonight one of the finest high school wrestling families ever. Dave and Paul Martin are the Grand Marshals tonight and also are going into the Hall of Fame, following in the footsteps of their father. What do you feel like tonight, Dave?
Well, this really brings a lot of memories back, Tim. I haven't been back here for about 15 or 20 years, but I can remember back when I was in 2nd grade, that was the highlight every year from then on all the way through college to go to the state tournament in Iowa. So it's always been a great part of our family tradition, wrestling has been.
Great. I know that your dad was a great influence. How about Big Brother?
Well, Big Brother was also a big influence in my wrestling career, and probably the main reason that I went to Oklahoma State to wrestle in college, and he and Dad and the rest of my family were all influences on my wrestling career.
You both have been highly successful in your lives after wrestling. Dave, you're in Oklahoma State in the athletic department. Paul, you're a lawyer. Any advice for young kids?
Well, Tim, I think one thing is that you have to determine a goal for your life, but more than anything, it just takes good preparation and dedication. A lot of hard work. I guess the same old things that coaches tell you every year, but that does work.
Thanks a lot, Dave and Paul. Thank you.
Thank you, the Martins and Tim Johnson. Let's take a quick look now at how the team points are scored in the tournament that's coming up, the finals. This is how the teams get their points. For a first place on down, a fall, that's 2 on top, and a technical fall, a 1.5 more. And this is how you score those extra points in such other ways as advancement and major decisions. Also, there are scorings inside the match. If you're a wrestling fan, you know all about these by now. A fall ends it, but takedowns 2 and near falls either 2 or 3. Okay? That's how we do it. As I mentioned earlier, the Iowa High School Athletic Association presents a lot of recognition awards, so let's join Mo Kelly at center mat.
Detail in a couple moments about the 2 gentlemen who led our Grand March, because they will be inducted into our Hall of Fame, but we would like to just introduce them one more time as our Grand March escorts. That would be the Martin brothers from Algona. Dave, a 2-time state champion. Dave, take a step forward there. And Paul, a 3-time state champion. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a couple of special recognitions we'd like to tell you about this evening. First of all, you know this state tournament has over 200 schools involved, over 600 young men, over 800 matches in a 3-day period. Needless to say, it takes some precision, some timing to get this show on the road and keep it moving. And one of the key people in doing this is our bench coordinator and PA announcer, and he's been at it for 14 years, and we thought it was about time to pay recognition to him. Dave Hardy, Assistant Athletic Director or Athletic Administrator of the Athletic Association at this time, presenting a plaque to Ed Winger of Urbandale. A big hand for Ed. He does a great job. One other thing I'd like to mention, a gentleman that's been covering our state high school meet for some 40 years, and I believe almost in succession. And also he's been covering NCAA meets about that long as well. He is a real friend of wrestling. He's the sports editor of one of our larger papers, one that does an outstanding job in all sports, but particularly, I'd have to say this gentleman is interested in wrestling. And we understand through the grapevine that he may be deciding to back down a little bit, take a little more retirement time to himself, so we thought it appropriate to introduce and have you recognize the sports editor of the Waterloo Courier, a great friend of high school athletics, particularly wrestling, Russ Smith, Waterloo Courier. He's right up here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Hall of Fame time. Each year, the Iowa High School Athletic Association and the Iowa High School Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association combine forces to recognize some great former prep wrestlers and former or present prep coaches. It's the Wrestling Hall of Fame, and we have some inductees we would like to introduce to you this evening. To present these awards, two members of the Iowa High School Athletic Association Board of Control. On my far left is Dennis Pierce, Superintendent of Pocahontas, the current chairman of the board, and next to Dennis is Robert Nielsen, Superintendent of Westside Arweva. And our first inductee was a champion in the state of Iowa as a prep at West Waterloo, however went to Michigan State as a collegian, had an outstanding record there at Michigan State. In fact, he was a Big Ten champion, an NCAA champion, and recognized as Big Ten Scholar Athlete of the Year. He is now a lawyer who writes law books and also is doing some professorship at his alma mater, Michigan State. A big hand for Dale Anderson, formerly West Waterloo standout. Our next gentleman has been coaching in Iowa high school circles for 28 years, the last 24 at Ames High School. He's won 180-some dual meets. His teams have been contenders many times, finishing in the top 10. He's had a third place and a fourth place state finish, and of course has coached many fine individuals, including the famous Gibbons brothers. Jack Mendenhall, the Ames High coach, and his wife accompanies him. That's Connie Mendenhall. The first one of the Martin brothers we'll mention is Dave Martin. Dave, of course, as we mentioned, a two-time state champion at Algona High School as a prep. He later won an NCAA championship and also was a runner-up finisher in the NCAA championships at Iowa State University. So at this time, let's introduce the first of the Martin brothers, and that's Dave. Dave Martin, accompanied by his wife, Tony. Paul Martin also was a standout, as we mentioned, in high school at Algona, a three-time state champion, and later performed at Oklahoma State University. So he had a fine career in both high school and collegiate wrestling as well. another Algona native, and that's Paul Martin, accompanied by his wife, Linda. A young gentleman from Humboldt High School became, I believe, the 19th gentleman in Iowa high school wrestling history to become a three-time champion. He was the first at his school to become such. His name was David Musselman. He later wrestled briefly at Iowa State, with the U.S. Army, and with Arizona State, and had outstanding records in collegiate ranks at Arizona State as well as at Humboldt High. Unfortunately, David was killed in a construction mishap several years ago, and we'd like to honor his parents in his memory this evening, Mr. and Mrs. Earl Musselman of Humboldt. Our next honoree, Marv Ryland, was a performer at the University of Northern Iowa after his prep days at Eagle Grove, and went on to coach at his alma mater, Eagle Grove High, came up with 4 state championship teams, some 125 dual meet victories in a career that was somewhat short, but Marv decided to devote his time now to the athletic directorship at Eagle Grove High. We're happy to induct him this evening for his fine coaching record at the high school level, 4 state championships at Eagle Grove High School, Marv Ryland, accompanied by his wife, Marlis. And finally, a former state champion himself. He later went to New Hampton as the head coach and has been coaching New Hampton for 21 years. As a collegian, he finished 3rd in the NAIA one year, representing Adams State in Colorado. As we said, the coach at New Hampton High, still there, still with some fine teams. He brought many athletes to our state tournament this year, as a matter of fact. How about a big hand for our Hall of Famer from New Hampton, Coach Arlen Severson, accompanied by his wife, Mary Jane. And there's our Hall of Fame.
Those are our Hall of Fame inductees, part of the award ceremony at the beginning of this meet. And following the awards, we'll have the wrestling tonight. They have 39 state titles yet to decide.
If you bring it together, the Wrestling Hall of Fame, to a reunion, do you think you'd fill this place just to see him, Doug?
Yeah, I think you would. Now let's go out again to Mo Kelly.
A member of the medical profession that more or less bends over backwards to help the young athletes in their particular school district, many times in even more than one school district. So we instigated what we call our Team Doctor Award. The member schools of the association make the nomination of these doctors who have done so much for their local athletic programs. We have 2 of these honorees this evening that will receive the Team Doctor Award. The first gentleman, doctors for the Southeast Polk School District, and also helps out with the Bondurant Farrar program, and that is Dr. Brent Haskell. How about a nice hand for Dr. Haskell? And also, we have a Team Doctor Award for a gentleman who has doctored at the Osceola Clark Community School District for a number of years, providing their athletes with many fine services above and beyond, we'd have to say. How about a big hand for Dr. Dennis Wilkin, accompanied by his wife, Julie. Our Team Doctor Award.
I mentioned that Dr. Brent Haskell is quite an athlete himself, actually, a very fine runner, and his wife has been too over the years, and they're both terrifically active in sports, both as physicians and as participants. Now back to Mo again. We're going to have
association have a breakfast, and at that time, after nominations have been taken at the district level, they vote for their coaches of the year. And at this time, it's our pleasure to announce the first announcing of the Coaches of the Year, and also the Junior High Coach of the Year and the Official of the Year. To make these presentations, the current officers of the Iowa High School Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association. At the left there is Dave Steinkamp, the current president. He's the coach at Winthrop East Buchanan. Jim Steyert is the vice president. He's of the West Marshall School District. And Al Billings is the secretary, the coach at Belle Plaine High School. So they will make these presentations on behalf of their peer group, the Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association. Chosen as the 3A Coach of the Year, his team is again right in the hunt for a state title tonight, and that's Don Huff of Waterloo West. Also, we'd like to introduce his assistant coaches, Steve Gillen and Ernest Middleton. And the 2A Coach of the Year, the coach of a team that's right on top of the Class 2A standings, Glenwood High, Bob Dyer. And his assistants are Bob Glenn, Bill McKee, and Tom Bussey. The 1A Coach of the Year, another fellow that's had an outstanding program, consistent and strong, from Morning Sun, John Siegel, the 1A Coach of the Year. And his assistant is Paul Wilkerson. Each year, this group also selects a Junior High Coach of the Year. We understand this gentleman has been coaching wrestling for 30 years, some 20 at the junior high level. He's from Marshalltown, and his name is Lou Kearney. He is accompanied by his wife, Jean. And this is a nice gesture on the part of the coaches. They pick an Official of the Year. And the Official of the Year has been an official of high school wrestling for some 15 years, and he's from New Hampton, Bill Rotes, accompanied by Mrs. Rotes. So there you have the honorees of the Iowa High School Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association. Another big hand for these folks that do so much for our high school athletes.
Our congratulations to all of tonight's award winners in front of this crowd of more than 12,000, and we'll be back with our first weight class in just a moment.
This is the 9th year of the AIDS epidemic, and still there isn't any cure. The AIDS Quarterly is a television news magazine. Reports from the labs on medical research, from Capitol Hill on political will and money, and from the men and women on the front lines of this epidemic. We hope you'll join us for the AIDS Quarterly on public television.
Tuesday at 8.
Part of what makes a winning musher as opposed to someone who only comes in 20th or 40th is definitely the person's ability to relate to the dogs.
Join the race across Alaska, Tuesday at 9.
TV. TV. Worth watching. IPTV's Festival. March 7th through the 19th.
Worth watching. IPTV.
Iowa Public Television.
We're back at the 1989 High School Wrestling Championships. And before we join the competition, let's meet a very special person, Mike Burford, the coach of Mason City High School, who is fighting the disease of cancer. And he shared his story with me a few minutes ago. Mike, we know last December you discovered about the lymphoma, and of course it changed your life tremendously. We thought a lot of your friends around the state would like to know how things are going.
Well, I tell you, they're going real well. It was a real shock, of course, to find out that that type of thing was going on, and it's been a a tough fight, but one I've been up for every day, and I've gotten a lot of support from all around the state, from wrestlers and people in my community, and it's really been super. I got a good report last week, and that is that the lymph system tumors are shrinking up, and on Monday I go in for a bone marrow biopsy to see what is happening in the bone marrow system.
Well, that's good. You find out how many friends you have.
That's right. You really do find out how many good people are in the world, and there are a lot.
Now, you brought 2 wrestlers down to this tournament, and how'd they do?
I tell you, they've both placed. Lee Foster at 119 came in against a #1 ranked boy in the state the first round and upset him and went on to the semis and lost a real close match and came back and got 3rd today. My 125-pounder finished 5th today, ended of the season with a fall, so we were really proud of both of them.
And I'm sure you are. And we'll be looking for you next year around here this time, and I hope that things go real well for you. I'm glad to hear the good news has been in the last few weeks.
Okay, thanks a lot. I plan to be here next year and for a long time, so I'm looking forward to it.
Mike Burford of Mason City High School, and we wish Mike well. Now, here we go with the wrestling for the 39 championship matches that we're going to have tonight to decide 13 weight class winners in 3 different population groups, the 1A, the 2A, and the 3A. Now, what we have first are the double A's, the double A class starting at 103 pounds, and we'll go on up through the first 4 weights with the double A's. The middle weights, the next 4 will be triple A. We'll go to the 1A's at the upper level up to 189 pounds, and then 275. Well, we picked out 3A to start with, but you never know where we're going to end up because some of these matches end early, and we'll also keep track, TJ, of what's happening on the other mats. We'll be in touch with Dean Borg and Dick Trotter, and we'll every once in a while show you something. If there's a pin going on somewhere, we'll try to have it for you.
Wherever the action is, we'll be there, right, Doug?
We have cameras all over this place, and we're seeing some of the people in the crowd. There you are, saying hello to the folks at home. And wherever you are in the state of Iowa or outside the state, because I know you might be from a neighboring state and you like to watch the outstanding wrestling that takes place here, we're going to have it for you in just a second. As we said, we have 3 young men going for state titles tonight for the 3rd time. 3rd time champions, maybe.
Well, they've got, all of them got their hands full. It's a, it's a pressure cooker out there, but if they've won it twice, you know they've been there before.
They've cleaned up the mats after the Grand March and people walking around on them. They put disinfectant out there the way they do, and they're waiting just for them to dry just a little bit. But the cheerleaders are coming out, the coaches are coming out, and everybody is going to go at it. We have 4-time champions in that number right there. There's 7 of them. Yeah. We mentioned that Shane Light, who's a junior, could join that crowd if he won tonight and next year.
Yeah, he's the next possibility.
But he has a tough match. That's going to be a tough road to hoe. 4-time champions in the state of Iowa, and that's quite a feat. Our first match tonight at 103 pounds will be in the 1A class between Donnie Donahue of Clarinda and Marty Bolin of Bloomfield, Davis County. At 112, it'll be Brian Reese of Osceola Clark against Roger Vogel of Comanche. We have Jerome Sutton of Williamsburg against Kevin Cochran of Centerville at 119. At 125, there's Dan Gable up in the crowd, by the way. You may have noticed, I think that's Russ Smith just in front of him on the left of your screen, yes. Dan Gable and his wife are sitting, Kathy, are just up there behind and joining many, many coaches if they can get in here because they go where the wrestlers are. It's like Willie Sutton and Banks, you go where the money is. You go where the wrestlers are. And the last of the 1A classes, 119, Jerome Sutton against Kevin Cochran, as we told you. The officials are ready, and we're just about set to go.
Both Marty Bolin,
that's Marty Bolin right there,
Donnie Donahue have had relatively easy ways to the finals. They've had their way. Donahue had a major decision in 2 falls, and Bolin came through with a 5-point, a 6-point, and a 15-point victory. And so they're up for this one.
That's Donnie Donahue of Clarinda. His coach is Don Cox. We'll take a look at the coaches along the way. Boy, you don't think the coaches are excited. You've been out there a few times, Tim.
Yeah, we get a little bit excited, and I love to see some of the dances. We're going to get to see some of that tonight, Doug.
So that's Donnie Donahue with the hood on there, loosening up. His opponent is Marty Boland, who has been here before.
And speaking of dances, I was talking to one of the best officials in the state over the last several years, Bobby McNeil, and talk about dances. A lot of our referees give us a few styles too.
We might mention too that the referees have a little help because there are 2 men on each mat, and it is important. You never have somebody out of position. You know, just the crowd says, hey, he's pinned, but the referee's on the backside, and he didn't see it. But here it doesn't happen because you have 2 officials.
And people that really work hard are the cheerleaders. You know, I was watching throughout this tournament, win, lose, the emotions ride high and low. The cheerleaders are with every match.
Well, they serve a better purpose than that, too, because our floor reporters tell me that when they want to know what the pronouncer for the man's name is, or what his record actually is, or what his toughest match was, they go ask the cheerleaders. They always know.
Everybody's got a role in Iowa high school wrestling. And then the parents.
Well, we are just about ready to get started. As we said, Bob McNeil, you were just talking about, Bob McNeil's going to be refereeing in one of these matches in 2A, but the 1A
He's on the side right now, teaming with Donnie Holmes, who is the head ref.
Is the head referee. And here we go. In the dark color, the black, you have Marty Boland and Donnie Donahue. And Boland just shot in for the first 2 points of the meet.
Used a single leg there. Come in, he shot a low shot and in for the 2 points.
So it's 2-0 in favor of Boland. 2-0 Boland. He's an experienced wrestler. As I said, he's been in this state tournament before. There's no such thing as riding time in this meet in high school. The escape is Donahue's first point.
Well, Donahue's used good hand control to get his 1 point there.
The other matches that are taking place at the same time, there is a throw and almost back points, but it's a takedown for Boland, who's now up 4-1. There's 1A between Scott Eppinger of Rock Valley and Eric Aylen of Belle Plaine. Aylen is undefeated. And at 3A, it's Scott Sams of Ames against Dan Osborne of Cedar Rapids Prairie. And that should be a good one.
Well, actually, Donahue got the takedown you were talking about, and then the reversal was by Marty Boland. So now the score is 4-3, Boland ahead.
4-3.
I saw that Donahue's had 2 falls, and he showed us a little bit what might happen when he gets in control by that throw he threw on Boland, but Boland was able to roll through, avoid the back points, and get 2. And here, with a wizard and trying to step over, is Donahue, but not getting the job done.
Oh, what a nice move. Boland just stuck with it, and he got the 2. Are they scoring or are they scoring?
They scored at 2 for Donahue and leading 5-4, and then they went off the mat before Boland was able to come back and score the 2 that we thought we saw.
Right, but it is 5-4 actually in favor of Donahue.
Their uniforms are close to the same colors. It's a burnt maroon, and so it's kind of hard for...
Take him down.
Man in behind is Donahue. And here comes Boland. He has the escape, ties the match at 5. Oh. Headlock. I don't know. That ended the period, I'm telling you, TJ.
Everything else is out of control. 2 green for control.
So what they did was gave Boland 2 points for reversal.
And it's 7-5. 7-5 Boland at the end of the first period. That was some first period.
And my points don't come up to that, but...
Well, the young man with the gold trim is Boland of Bloomfield. And he's in the position riding on top.
Ankle.
Certainly a fan's match right here, Doug.
Tough in there with a waist and a chop. Oh, and a wicked headlock right across the top, and a reversal by Boland.
Well, they haven't called it yet.
No, he hasn't called it, and it isn't there. Now it is.
Well, he just reaches back. And he's got Boland in trouble, and like I said, he got into this with a 22-second pin in the semifinal.
Donahue of Clarinda with a lot of time left in the second period. He's tied the match 7-7, but he has at least a 3-point near fall and maybe a fall. He has to hold him 2 seconds, whereas in college it's 1.
Donahue's doing a good job of keeping him on the mat, and he did it for the fall.
What a match that turned out to be.
Wow.
Each man up, each man down, and finally Donahue with that headlock from the bottom.
Yeah, reached from behind, reached way back and got the headlock, and then was able to settle his hips in there so that he wasn't rolled through this time. Here's where he settles his hips so that Bolin is not able to roll him on through, and that's very important how he settles down right there and gets the fall.
So that one ends early. It is Donahue over Bolin at the 2A 103-pound class. Now we're going to go to one of the other matches here. We're going to go to 1A between Scott Eppinga of Rock Valley and Eric Aylen of Belle Plaine.
And Aylen is leading 4-0, and Aylen is a defending state champion.
Eric Aylen, who is 33-0. The referee here is Arlo Flegge, one of the real veterans of wrestling officialdom in Iowa. And this is Aylen and I hear we have 2 young men in black. But that's Aylen on top, Belle Plaine with the gold trim.
Well, there's 20 seconds left, and Aylen has control of this match. He's got the wrist tied underneath, and he's trying to drive an arm bar over for the fall, but he's ahead 4-0 right now.
4-0 with 13 seconds to go, 10 seconds, 9 seconds in the second period. Obviously, he's ridden his man all the way out this period. And that's Aylen leading 4-0, goes to the middle, and Aylen will start on the bottom now, leading by 4 and having a chance to come out for more. Scott Eppinga of Rock Valley, coached by Kent Eknes, is his opponent. Aylen comes up. Eppinga's having trouble bringing them back to the mat again. Finally did it. Puts the leg in. Trouble, here comes Aylen.
Now he has Aylen in a position where if he could have got him down just a little bit faster, he would have had a couple of points, but Aylen's coming out.
Managed to face him, now here he comes. And now Eppinga's got himself in a bind because Aylen.
Inside leg cradle there.
Yes, he has a cradle on him. Leading 4-0. The reversal hasn't been given yet. There it is. 6-0.
Aylen's a junior. He won the state championship as a sophomore last year. He's on his way right now to looking like he has a good shot of winning his second. So, Doug, does that mean, and it does, next year,
maybe
we'll be featuring him going for a 3-time state championship. Anything can happen, but with 55 seconds left, Aylen's in control.
This is the 103-pound class. It's the smallest weight class. Here comes Aylen now late in the third period, trying to put the clamps on his man, Scott Eppinga of Rock Valley. Nobody's beaten Aylen this year. Doesn't look like anybody's going to.
Over on the AAA mat, in that match between Dan Osborne and Scott Sams, Osborne from Cedar Rapids Prairie is leading 9-3 over Sams from Ames with 45 seconds left in the match. 9-3, Osborne, Cedar Rapids Prairie leading Sams from Ames.
Prairie is one of the teams that's going to look like they're going to score more than 100 points.
They already have. They've scored 100, so this match will put them more than 100.
Here it is. Aylen on top where he's been almost all the match at 103 pounds in the 1A division. We saw Donnie Donahue, he just joined us, pin Marty Bolin at AA, 103 pounds. There is the end of the match. Eric Aylen is a 2-time champion from Belle Plaine, Iowa. The referee, Donald Holmes of Vinton. raises the hand of the young man from Belle Plaine who, as Tim just told you, will be back next year trying for number 3.
And Dan Osborne from Prairie has just won his state championship for Cedar Rapids Prairie on the 3A mat.
Against Scott Sams of Ames, whose coach Jack Mendenhall you saw just initiated into the Wrestling Hall of Fame. So we're through 103 pounds now. We've gone through 103 pounds. We'll go up to 112 next. We'll start with the AA class. And the participants will be Brian Reese of Osceola Clark against Roger Vogel of Comanche. And that'll be coming up at 112. Let's go to Dick Trotter.
Okay, Doug, in the 103-pound championship match, Scott Sams and Dan Osborne of Prairie had at it, and when it was all over, it was 9-3. There you see Dan Osborne of Prairie as he used the takedown to perfection tonight and defeat another junior, Scott Sams of Ames, 9-3. Doug?
Thank you, Dick. We'll be back with floor reports from Dick Trotter and Dean Borg, keeping you in touch with all that's going on these 3 matches, which are wrestling simultaneously here tonight. The 1A, the 2A, and the 3A all go at the same time. And again, as we said, on a 3-year rotation, to be fair, from the Iowa High School Wrestling Association, we have each year a different set of rotations. We have this year the 2A first, and then we'll get to the 3A, then we'll get to the 1A as our starter match each time. And it may end early as it did the last time. Now we go to 112, Tim, between an undefeated wrestler, Brian Reese from Osceola, and Roger Vogel, who's tasted defeat just once in 30 matches. He's from Comanche.
Well, Brian Reese did have a tough match in the second round, a 6-4 decision. Other than that, he hasn't had too much trouble on his way to an undefeated year so far here into the finals. Roger Vogel from a great wrestling family. In fact, the Vogels really are one of the families that has brought Comanche up over the last few years to a tremendous wrestling school.
Now the Comanche wrestler Vogel has the dark, he has the blue uniform, and Brian Reese of Osceola is in the maroon.
Reese has the red band, Vogel has the green.
Around the ankles. Now on the other match right now, let's tell you what's happening there. First of all, at 1A, we have David Sterling of Clarksville against undefeated Kevin Hogan of Edgewood Colesburg. And then in 3A, it's 2 Cedar Rapids wrestlers, Lance Paulson of Kennedy and Randy Rore of Prairie, having at it. That's 112 pounds on the other mats. First takedown attempt in the AA division. A long single leg attempt by Brian Reese that didn't quite make it. That's Vogel on the right. Now he's in it. Nice double leg.
That was a nice shot. Didn't go down to his knees at all. Hit Reese at the torso. Was able to hit the double leg, the head to the outside, and driving down for 2.
And so Vogel leads 2-0, and he's putting the clamps now on Brian Reese. Has him flattened out. State championship at 112 pounds. Reese on his feet and out, gets the escape, makes it 2-1 with 49 seconds to go. Vogel of Comanche on your right in the blue. Reese now trying to fight off a leg attack by Vogel. Vogel has the leg in the air, leading 2-1.
Reese is able to come out of his single leg
counter
and back into a single leg of his own.
Now let's see if Reese can have any better luck than Vogel did. He has just 15 seconds to do something.
Vogel's trying to put his leg down, put his foot down, hop.
A nice change, but out of bounds. Dwight Spangler says it didn't happen in bounds. Did the officials agree? They did.
Right, and it was a good call by Dwight Spangler as the knees were out of bounds, and it's the difference between college and high school. In college, all you have to have is your feet in. In high school, you have to have both knees in bounds, and Reese's were not.
Again, that's Vogel on your left at the end of the period. 2-1 in favor of Vogel of Comanche. State Championship AA division. Live on Iowa Public Television. This is our annual 3-ring circus of high school wrestling from Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines. Tim Johnson calling the analysis here. I'm Doug Brown. So Reese began in the up position, puts the leg in right away.
Over on the A mat, Kevin Hogan from Edgewood Colesburg leads David Sterling in the second period with a minute left, 12-6. 12-6.
We just had the reversal here with Vogel coming around, and now the man from Comanche leads 4-1. 4-1 lead for Vogel.
Roger Vogel, on his way to the championship, won 11-4, 9-5, and 11-3, so he really wasn't challenged that much coming into the finals.
We have a minute and a half to go here in the second period. Vogel riding on top. He doesn't put the leg in. Uses a spiral ride.
Trying to keep the pressure on the top, but he's not going out too far because you can't go too far when you have the leg hooked like that, Doug.
Back to the center with a minute and 5 to go. 4-1 with the man on top. That man right there, Vogel of Comanche, in charge. So Reese, the undefeated wrestler on the bottom, is going to have to figure out something here pretty quick. This is the 2A championship. But Vogel is putting on a really tough ride. He's controlled the legs.
He needs to come out.
He needs to come out to the side. I was just going to say.
Parallel right here, and so he needs to give the bottom man a chance to come up. Playing a pretty conservative game right here, Vogel is, and of course it's the state championships. He's ahead 4-1 with 30 seconds second period, and he says, I have control, I want to keep it.
And out of bounds.
No, you're out.
And we come back to the center. 27 seconds to go, with Vogel leading 4-1 and in the position of control. No such thing as riding time in high school wrestling.
On the 3A mat, Lance Paulson is leading 5-0 with 45 seconds left in the second period over Randy Rory of Cedar Rapids Prairie.
And there is, again, Vogel managing to control on top. There's a warning against Vogel now for failing to improve his position on top. He leads 4-1 with 10 seconds to go in the second period.
Well, that was a good call because he has failed to improve his position, and he's going to have to come out.
There's the end of the period. We're at 2A, 112 pounds. After the 112-pound matches, that's Rod Gall, who is the Osceola coach, Clark coach, and he's Brian Reese's coach. That's Michael Ashby cheering his young man Roger Vogel, who's now leading 4-1 and who has started the third period here on top again. And Reese hasn't been able to figure him out at all.
Well, he hasn't been able to get his hips out, and right there he has a chance to get his hips up. He needs to come up, needs to scoot out, but right now Vogel's back in that parallel position, and he's going to get called right here if he doesn't come out because the man from underneath just can't move.
In the 1A, Kevin Hogan leads David Sterling, undefeated Kevin Hogan, 16-7. There's a point, as you were suggesting it was going to happen.
Well, it's pretty obvious, and he does need to come out.
So now it's 4-2.
Puts him in a position where a reversal ties it up.
And for the first time, Reese comes to his feet. Manages to come out. Just
cross face. He wasn't able to cross face hard enough. Right here is it. It's a matter of the hips. Can he hip out, cross face hard enough to get one or two? But Vogel was able to hook that back leg. That saves him some time.
Nothing yet.
We're going to get a stalemate here.
Stalemate, red, you're down.
With a minute and 1 second to go.
And from that stalemate, of course, the referee's saying that there is no chance that this position is going to improve, so we're going to start over.
with Vogel, the man leading, on top. It's 4-2. And again, little excitement right on the whistle for Reese. Can he come out? Can he make the reversal? He
does.
He did. And it's tied 4-4. We have 45 seconds to go.
Let's stay on the leg.
But he's going to have to do something on top because an escape would break the tie.
On the single A mat, Kevin Hogan has won the state championship 16-7. Edgewood Colesburg gets a state championship out of Kevin Hogan over David Sterling from Clarksville.
This is the 2A match at 112. It's tied 4-4. And Reese, undefeated from Osceola, trying to stop the switch of Vogel. Takes him back to the mat again. He'll have to come up off the ankle or they'll call him. Reese is turned in, but Vogel turned in, but Reese was able to stay with him, and 10 seconds to go. If Vogel can escape in these 10 seconds, he'll win. Otherwise, we'll go to overtime. There's Vogel, who controlled the match right up to the last period. Tried the switch and was cut off by Reese. We're going to go to overtime, my friend. 1 second to go. And there it is. That means 4-4 at the end of regulation.
Over on the 3A mat, Lance Paulson has built his lead to 7-0. Lance Paulson, with 30 seconds left in the match from Cedar Rapids Kennedy, is going to make Coach Rick Blackwell a happy man if he holds on here for 20 seconds.
Now what we're going to have here is an overtime consisting of 1-minute periods. 3 1-minute periods. Let's see the reversal that saved it for Reese.
Well, what happened right here was that Vogel got too high and Reese was able to come out the back door and get his 2 points.
Well, Brian Reese just stayed at it, got a penalty call against Vogel on top, and then made the reversal. So it's 4-4. We have a series of 1-minute periods now, a 3-minute match. And it's like it's a brand new match. Everything is new. What happens, you ask, if they're tied at the end of overtime? Well, there's a series of criteria. They just go down the list to find out which of the criteria is answered first, and whoever answers the criteria, starting from the top, wins the match. Here we go.
And an update, Doug. Lance Paulson has won his 2nd state championship for Cedar Rapids Kennedy. The winner at 112 for Cedar Rapids Kennedy, Lance Paulson.
And Dean Borg and Dick Trotter will be telling you about those matches after we finish at 112 here in the overtime between Reese and Vogel. Timeout just for a second. Roger Vogel got hit in the lip. And so he's going to be attended to by Coach Michael Ashby and some of the Comanche assistants. We'll take timeout. See how that happened. There. Head bump.
Yeah, it was the head there, and he's all right, ready to go.
In the regulation match, Reese got the first takedown and a reversal in the second period. And in the third period, Vogel did, but Reese was able to come back from a 4-1 deficit and tie it to go into overtime. Now that is Reese in the maroon uniform on the left from Osceola Clark, Roger Vogel from Comanche, Far Eastern Iowa, in the blue uniform on your right. Well, I'll tell you, if you come to the state championship match, you figure they have to be in shape to get ready for this. They're not in shape now.
And you got to be ready to go the full 9 minutes. And 9 minutes, of course, is the 6-minute regular period and then the overtime.
No score in the first period. So now we go to a second period. The choice is going to belong to Vogel. Vogel goes down. That means that Reese will have his choice in the third period. This will be 1 minute long. Reese, the riding position on top. He was able to ride well in the third period of the regulation time. to prevent Vogel from escaping for a win. Both being very cautious.
Vogel, of course, choosing down there because he knows that he has the opportunity to score from underneath, but he's only got 30 seconds to do it.
And things get a little desperate, you know, when you know that you have to face a third period with the other man on the bottom. When you reach this time, 24 seconds to go, and you're still not out. One loss between them this year.
Reese not losing at all. Vogel with only one loss. It's a classic matchup.
Reese has the leg in, controls the arm, and is making things tough on Vogel.
It's illegal. He's got to be able to turn with it. He's got to be able to turn with it.
We're down in the last 5 seconds. All that happened in the first 30 seconds of the second period. Dalrymple of Waterloo West is showing that team championship stuff.
The score on the single A, Matt, is Steve Sterling from Clarksville leading 13-5 with 50 seconds left in the second period over Alex Malcolm from Tabor Fremont Mills.
The time taken here at AAA is because Jeff Dalrymple had an injured knee. He's wearing a brace.
Right here he has him sitting in the lap, and Orton is able to grab that, and he has got it past the 90 degrees, but he's all right. Dalrymple is okay. Good stop by the referee.
The kind of replays you don't like to look at. Yeah. Dalrymple has been able to stick the legs in and control Orton's arms and really mop him up on top. He leads 6-0.
Well, there's no question. Dalrymple's legs have been the frustration for Orton so far in this match.
Now there's a warning, because the official, McDonough, believes that Dalrymple is going to have to go to something else. He can stall on top of that.
Stacy Rice leads 4-2 with 20 seconds left in the second period on his quest for his third state championship.
Now Dalrymple's in between the legs. He's trying to put his man on the back.
Mike Bonham has gotten him an escape over there, and then Rice leads 4-3 at the end of the second period.
Dalrymple now caught the head, and he has Orton in some trouble. 6-0 is Dalrymple's lead. He has dominated this match, but all up until this moment, because Orton now comes around for the first reversal, makes it 6-2. Between periods, we'll show you the team standings at AAA in this West Waterloo, Cedar Rapids Prairie, Des Moines Dowling, West Des Moines Dowling matchup. After the escape by Dalrymple, it's 7-2 in favor of Dalrymple after 2 periods. Here are the standings. West Waterloo, 119 points. Cedar Rapids Prairie, Dowling still hasn't reached 100 yet.
They've still got all 4 of their wrestlers left.
So we'll see how that goes. And there's Orton, making the score 8-4. Orton is doing a comeback here.
Close to trapping the head and putting a lot of trouble to Dalrymple. Dalrymple's able to get out of it, dodge the bullet.
8-4 with 1.5 minutes to go. Dalrymple on the left from West Waterloo. There's Orton again, low single. He's in between the legs. Can he get Dalrymple on his back? Orton now has brought it up to 8-6.
Now here's where the coaches have to make decisions on whether or not to let them up, take them down. Where are they the strongest? Where do they have the opportunity to score the points with 1 minute left?
Rice is ahead in his attempt to win his third title. He's ahead 7-3 over Mike Bonham with about 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in the match. That's at AA.
The Clarksville wrestler, Sterling, has won the state title with a technical fall, 21-6 over Malcolm from Tabor Fremont Mills.
That's impressive because Malcolm is undefeated. Here is Matt Orton. He had just let his man go. One of those coaching decisions you were talking about. It's 9-6, and now Dalrymple, who's had a bad last couple of minutes, is in on the body line.
He's in tight, and Dalrymple has an opportunity right here. He's got his 2.
Orton looking good.
Now here comes your coaching decision again.
35 seconds to go. Well, he still has that.
Right, he's on a roll though from the feet. You know, you never know. It's either they're either gonna choose to go overtime or they're gonna choose to try to win it right here. And they're gonna choose right here to try to salvage an overtime.
It's 10-8.
Or with the throw, the win.
15 seconds to go.
I think that was a good coaching move by Cedar Rapids Jeff to do just what they're doing because he's been pushing him. And there's the single leg, there's the double.
8 seconds, 7.
He's got to pop his head, he's got to pop his head.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
2 points.
2 points.
Overtime.
It's overtime. Holy cow, you can't get any closer than that.
Well, the coaching move worked. It came down to the last couple of seconds.
Now the advantage that Orton has going in, well, the advantage that Dalrymple has is he has a near fall. When they go into overtime. That's the criteria.
Right, and Stacy Rice has won his 3rd title. Congratulations to Stacy Rice from Storm Lake winning his 3rd title.
So all our 3-time potentials won tonight.
Right. Now there you see the West Waterloo wrestler, Jeff Dalrymple, getting ready for overtime.
He started out like a house of fire, but Orton really came back.
Now here's the takedown attempt by Orton. And right here it looks like it's awful close to 2 points. He's coming across, and he's got control, except he has not popped his head out right. And he called 2 before the man hit the referee with the towel.
And West Waterloo coach Don Huff was,
yeah, it was a
shall we
close
say,
call.
a little upset by that.
It was a very close call.
But here we go, 10-10. The score will continue to mount from where it is now, 10-10, 135-pound AAA state championship match. Jeff Dalrymple of West Waterloo in the light top, the two-color uniform, and Matt Orton of Cedar Rapids Jefferson in the blue. Orton dominated the last part of the match, got the last takedown right at the end to tie.
Well, he's been hitting low singles just like that one right there. He's been enjoying success with it also.
Looking good again. This time he's able to thought for a second he was going to get the leg in the air. Dalrymple across the body. This is going to be a stalemate. No score. We have 24 seconds to go. Again, this is our 3rd overtime.
There's a shot at Coach Dick Briggs and one of his assistant coaches, Henry Orton, who just happens to be the father of this young man from Cedar Rapids, Jeff, Matt Orton.
Being as objective about it as he possibly can.
I don't think he has to where he's sitting. I don't think he has to be objective at all. Here comes the single leg again.
And Orton, for the first time in the match, leads
12-10.
Matt Orton of Cedar Rapids Jefferson. And that is the end of the first period. First of 3 one-minute periods. Now we go to second period. And Dalrymple starts the second period on the bottom, trailing by 2. Orton gets the leg in. Cross-body ride there, working on the other arm. Dalrymple is going to have to think of something here. Well, here he comes,
well,
maybe.
Orton has been the man that's come on. Dalrymple started out fast, very dominating fashion.
Didn't look like a match at all.
No, and Orton has come on, and the plotter now is ahead.
That's right, 2-0 in the overtime makes it 12-10 in favor of Matt Orton.
Man, I tell you see it time and time again. You just got to stick in these matches and you make it a match. There's no runaways if both wrestlers want it bad enough. You just keep plodding away. Wrestling doesn't give you an opportunity to say, I quit very often.
Here comes Dalrymple. He gets Orton, maybe. What happened? What did they call?
1 point.
Just an escape.
Because the time, he was not ready to call that 2 points yet. Another close call. I'm sure Don Huff doesn't feel like it's going his way right now. But I'm sure the referee's reasoning there was the towel hit, he hadn't decided to call control. So he called out of control.
12-11. And Dalrymple on top. He's going to have to make a decision here. He's trailing by 1. He'll have to turn Orton or let him go. He's going to try to turn him.
Well, he hasn't had much success on the feet, so this is where Dalrymple probably has the most opportunity for success.
But Orton is coming out the back. He has the reversal and a 3-point lead. 14-11. Orton of Cedar Rapids Jefferson. We have less than half a minute to go in the overtime.
Been a very exciting match.
The official, Dale McDonough, brings him back to the referee's position with 15 seconds to go in a stalemate. And Matt Orton came from behind in regulation time. Now leads by 3, 14-11. And he looks clearly in command.
That's Cedar Rapids Jeff's second championship tonight.
The winner, Matt Orton of Cedar Rapids Jefferson, makes Coach Dick Briggs awfully happy. He's the 135-pound state champion. And now we're going to have the awards presented at 130 pounds. First of all, 1A.
Kerry Ficus of Lorenz Marathon. 6th place, Shane Strickland, Anita. 5th place, Doug Reedshaw, New Sharon, North Mahaska. 4th place, Lonnie Jeans, Maynard, West Central. 3rd place, Mark Schmitz, Gilbertville, Don Bosco. Runner-up, Cody Shea, Mount Ayr. And the Class 1A 130-pound champion from Lorenz Marathon, Todd Griffin.
One of the Griffin twins has won it. Let's see how that 118 race is going between Lisbon and Clarksville.
You know what? Boy. Lisbon won. They've won it. Clarksville has no wrestlers left.
82.5 for Lisbon. Another team championship.
It doesn't get much closer. What a big win by Shane Light.
That was a major one. And he not only won his 3rd championship with that last-minute takedown, but he also brought it about for his team. Now here's 2A at 130 pounds.
Coach Mike Kalupnik of Centerville. 6th place, Chris Brown, Dallas Center Grimes. 5th place, Kirby Moss, Bloomfield, Davis County. 4th place, Bart Berry, Winterset. 3rd place, Brian Perrin, Osage. Runner-up, Rob Seal, Storm Lake. And the 2A 130-pound champion from Centerville, Mike Kalupnik.
Well, that's his coach, Mark Mormon. After all these years.
Mark Mormon, the champion.
They gave the championship to his coach.
Yeah. Mark Mormon of Centerville, he's the winner. And that's a 2A 130 pounds. Coming up, the top 6 in the state, AAA.
Presenting the Class 3A 130-pound
well, they had such a good match to win this one.
Coach Don Huff of Waterloo West. 6th place, Eldridge Brantley, Clinton. 5th place, Matt Hatcher, Cedar Rapids Prairie. 4th place, Jared Downey, Indianola. 3rd place, Jason Bortz, Council Bluffs TJ. Runner-up, Montrese Anderson, Waterloo East. And the 3A 130-pound champion from Waterloo West, Andy Showalter.
He won it in an overtime tonight, a terrific match. Andy Showalter, the AAA champion. Congratulations. Let's go to Dean Borg.
Well, Doug, in single A, 135-pound Steve Sterling of Clarksville, whose brother lost earlier tonight, dominated his match with Alex Malcolm of Fremont Mills. In fact, he was leading 21-6 when 38 seconds left in the 3rd period. He scored a fall, and he's the champion at 135 pounds. Now to Dick Trotter.
Thank you, Dean. With me now is three-time state champion Stacy Rice. Stacy of Storm Lake had little trouble with Mike Bonham of Missouri Valley, although the start was kind of slow. What happened?
I started kind of slow because of my shoulder, but it took me a little while to get going, but I got her going after a while.
Your specialty looked like the takedown.
Yeah, I've wrestled a lot of freestyle, so my best spot's on my feet.
4 takedowns for Stacy in becoming a 3-time state champion in the state of Iowa in Class AA. Congratulations, Stacy, and there's a happy young man. A winner 11-4 over Mike Bonham of Missouri Valley. Back to you, Doug.
Now, as he told you before we started tonight, he can go off and notice that his shoulder hurts because he's won the state title. Now we come to a big one at 140 pounds. We have the AAA match to start. That's the one we're going to show you, between Jason Welch of West Des Moines Valley and Jeff Tyler of West Des Moines Dowling, who's won more matches in one single year than anybody in Iowa high school history. He's 47-0 this year.
And 2 of them is over his opponent tonight, but they've been close matches, and he respects his opponent very much. Another hometown battle here.
West Des Moines.
And Valley against Dowling.
Referee is Arlo Flegge of Waverly. Coaches are Jim Underfer of Valley and Bob Dara of Dowling.
First of 4 Dowling wrestlers in the finals. Possibly one of the better wrestlers to come out of Iowa in a long time, Tyler.
Tyler is in the maroon. Welch is in the black.
Quite an accomplished international wrestler. He's placed in the junior worlds and the junior cadet worlds. He's also a high placer in the junior national.
At 1A, we'll have Shannon Bucknell of Postville against Randy Heidemann of Janesville. And a AA, Jay Nelson of Dallas Center of Grimes against Jeremy Ask of St. Ansgar.
We had a real scramble right there between Tyler and Welch. Welch almost took Tyler down, but Tyler was able to come out.
This is the AAA championship at 140 pounds. Again, Tyler on the left in the purple. Dowling.
A little more action.
Back to the center. They've used almost a minute here in this 2-minute first period.
Welch is a senior and Tyler only a junior.
Welch came in on a single leg. And Tyler counters with a single leg. Now he has his man on his back. Does he get the takedown?
Nope, I don't think they called anything. Went out of bounds before the takedown.
Tyler against Welch. Shaping up to be a good match. That's Tyler going under, failing to score.
Okay, keep it in there.
Didn't come out with anything.
Well, if you can't change levels one way, you do it another. And Tyler did a nice job of kind of the throw under. Changed his level, got in on a single, and changed to a double for a takedown and made it 2 points. And has given the escape. He wants to stay on his feet, Doug.
We have about 10 seconds to go in the first period now, with Tyler leading 2-1. He's the man in the front headlock position. He tried to shuck Welch away. Wasn't able to do it. End of the first period, 2-1. In between periods, want to say too hello and good luck to Vern Hill of was a coach of Webster City, who's also at West Des Moines Valley, who's had some really serious health problems, and
just a minute here, just a minute. I gotta get this here.
Our good friend Vern Hill. He's watching tonight. Maybe they'll get one here for you. Jason Welch against Jeff Tyler.
Caution on Red. Okay, I'll way in the back door. Look straight ahead. Let's go.
That's Jason Welch on top. He's trailing 2-1. He's starting the second position in the position of advantage.
There he goes into a Granby roll. Granby finish. He's got
nice
the 2.
move by Tyler.
That's it. He still got it. There he has it.
That's
he hasn't called it 2 yet.
He hasn't.
There he goes. He's called it 2. should be getting back points, and Arlo Flaggy is holding 2 points back points, and that's right. And now they're in a scramble position.
Well, I think he did. 4-1, 6-1. There it is.
6-1.
So Tyler
You're down here yet. Let's go.
went into the Granby roll, came out in the classic Granby position with an arm and a leg, and it's one of the slickest moves in wrestling if you make it work, and it's not much fun when you have it happen to you.
On the single A mat, the Postville wrestler, Shannon Bucknell, is leading 2-0 over Randy Heidemann from Janesville. Postville and Janesville, pretty close together, those Villes.
6-2 after the escape. Tyler changing levels again, trying to come under. There he goes to the outside leg attack. Showing a lot of variety.
In the double A match, Jay Nelson from Dallas Center Grimes is leading 6-5 over Jeremy Ask from St. Ansgar. With 19 seconds left in the second period.
Tyler, on your right, leads 6-2 over Jason Welch of West Des Moines Valley. Long single leg attempt by Welch is short. Tyler on the left leads by 4.
Welch is showing he's a solid wrestler, and this sport is so much just by inches. And right now, the inches have gone to Tyler, and they've wrestled so many times that it's a tough situation for both wrestlers.
There's the end of the period, second period, 6-2 Tyler. That's his coach, Bob Dara.
And Ronnie Gray, his assistant of many years, and they're a great team together.
Where did he get his start?
He got his start in Morning Sun, Iowa, of course.
Where did you get your start? Morning Sun, Iowa.
Jim Underfer, the fine coach from Valley we just saw there, has always had a good program at Valley. And Underfer and Dara have gone head-to-head for many years here in the Metro Conference.
6-3 after the escape to start the third period. Tyler wants to be on his feet. That's the man on the right leading by 3. Tyler and Welch, both from West Des Moines. And that was an ill-advised long shot by Welch. He was out of position, and Tyler countered him for 2, and it's 8-3.
Tyler's the kind of wrestler you don't get out of position in because he will take advantage of it, and that's the mark of a great wrestler.
Tyler on top leading by 5. We have, let's see, about 1:10 to go in the third period. 140. Tyler has won 47 matches this year. This would be number 48. And it looks like, because he has another year left, it looks like that record that Stryker set tonight, of career wins for a high school wrestler, is going to go down the tubes.
Well, record, as they say, and it's true, records are made to be broken.
Near fall position, actually better than that. This is a tough position from Tyler. It's a 3-point near fall.
You only have 2 so far.
2-point near fall.
In the 2A match with 1:22 left, it's 7-7. That's Jay Nelson and Jeremy Ask.
It's 2-0 in favor of Bucknell over Heidemann at 1A. Postville over Janesville. The Battle of the Bills.
That's right, the Battle of the Bills.
Tyler making things really tough on Welch in this top position. And there's the end of the match. With a 2-point near fall, Tyler stretches it out to 10-3 and becomes an undefeated state champion. Jeff Tyler of West Des Moines Dowler. He'll be back next year. I think there'll probably be 1 or 2 college scouts here too watching him.
1 or 2, and they'll be from out of state, Doug, because a lot of people all over the nation are going to want this young man.
That's Jeff Tyler.
Getting a hug from Coach Dara.
At AA, it's 7-7, 9-7 now in favor of Jeremy Ask of St. Ansgar over Jay Nelson of Dallas Center. Is that right? Right. Jeremy Ask is the winner, is the leader, 9-7. We have 44 seconds to go in the third period, and let's watch it. Bob McNeil is the official here, the head referee. Ask, leading by 2, is on top. 44 seconds to go. This has been quite a match, apparently, because it is 9-7. Nelson rolls. Thought he was going to be out. Didn't quite get there. Time is running out for Nelson.
Well, he needs to go back to his base and start over, and the referee's going to help him out a little bit right here and call a stalemate, and that's what Ask needs to do, or Nelson needs to do. He needs to get his hips out from underneath and not let him get tied up like that.
AAA went to Thyler. We're at AA here.
And on the single A mat, it's 3-0 in favor of Shannon Bucknell over Randy Heidemann with a minute left in the match.
Ask almost stopped Nelson in the middle of that roll. 10 seconds to go. Nelson doesn't have much choice. He has to try things like that, but Ask is in full control, leading by 2. Another roll, nothing. And the winner is from St. Ansgar, Jeremy Ask.
And a happy coach, Kirby Moses. With 35 seconds left, we still have a 3-0 match on the single A mat.
And let's watch this. Let's watch this. It's 3-0 in favor of Bucknell. These wrestlers both have black uniforms.
Well, Bucknell, he's on the inside right there. He's still on his knees, still on one knee, and that's him on the right-hand side of our screen with the red leg band. And now it's 3-2.
Heidemann, he has 15 seconds to go. He has to turn him now in the last 10 seconds. Almost an impossible situation now because there are only a couple of seconds left to go. 4 seconds to go. Heidemann let him go and wasn't able to take him down. The winner by 1 point is Shannon Bucknell of Postville. The coach's son, I think. Brad Bucknell is his coach.
That's got to be a very satisfying feeling.
So we've been able to show you a little bit of each of the classifications here, starting with 3A, then going to 2A, and then 1A at 140 pounds. This is Bucknell of Postville after the escape 4-2. Let's go to 1A champion awards at 135.
6th place, Brian Stewart, Lisbon. 5th place, Jeremy Bidding, New London. 4th place, Jeff Garnier, Maynard, West Central. 3rd place, George Woodward, Moravia. Runner-up, Alec Malcolm, Tabor, Fremont Mills. And the 1A 135-pound champion from Clarksville, Steve Sterling.
Clarksville, which unfortunately just fell one short. Half was a 1 point short.
1 point short. Lisbon does have one more wrestler to go, and so they can extend their lead. But it's an awful close single A matchup there.
Now let's look at double A. We have a 3-time champion going up to the top step here, Stacy Rice.
Presenting the Class 2A 135-pound awards, Coach Kevin Besch of Storm Lake. 6th place, Troy Langos, Johnston. 5th place, Ron Deese, Norwalk. 4th place, Grant Yorkshoy, Monroe. 3rd place, Matt Sesker, Forest City. Runner-up, Mike Bonham, Missouri Valley. And the Class 2A 135-pound champion from Storm Lake, Stacy Rice.
He lost 2 matches in his entire career, 111-2. Stacy Rice from Storm Lake. So that's the result at 135 pounds, double A. Now we have the AAA people coming up. Winner was decided here in that overtime we showed you between Matt Orton and Jeff Dalrymple. But all 6 top place winners mount the steps.
Class 3A 135-pound awards. Assistant coach Henry Orton of Cedar Rapids Jefferson. 6th place, Sean Malone, Maquoketa. 5th place, Joe Bennett, Fort Dodge. 4th place, Ted Osterberger, Dubuque Waller. 3rd place, Kevin McCarthy, Des Moines Lincoln. Runner-up, Jeff Dalrymple, Waterloo West. And the 3A 135-pound champion from Cedar Rapids Jefferson, Matt Orton.
Well, there's his dad.
Dick Briggs turned it over to his assistant.
Henry Orton, and gave his dad a chance to give his gold medal to his son. How many times has that opportunity come about? Not very often.
135-pound award winners. Let's go to Dean Board.
In single A at 140 pounds, the match between Shannon Bucknell of Postville and Randy Heidemann of Janesville came down to a question of 2 takedowns. The difference was that Shannon Bucknell of Postville got his first. The match was close from then on. Randy Heidemann had to let his man up twice in order to score his takedown. And so those 2 escape points gave Bucknell, there's 2 free escape points, gave Bucknell the win. He's the new champion at 140. Shannon Bucknell of Postville. Doug?
Now we have 145 pounds coming up, and we're still starting with the Triple A's here. There is Don Briggs, who is the brother of the man whose team just produced a champion of the 130 in the AAA.
And of course the head coach at the University of Northern Iowa. And next week's the regionals, where Coach Gibbons at Iowa State, Coach Gable and Coach Briggs are all getting ready for.
We have at AAA Doug Gelgard of Lewis Central of Council Bluffs, undefeated against Troy Krieger of Clinton for the 145-pound championships. The referee is Mike Exline.
As I said, you see all kinds of college coaches. Coach Gibbons here from Iowa State.
That
Gable
1A,
from Iowa.
Let me interrupt here just for a second to set this up for you, TJ. Joe Kilberg of Bellevue is wrestling Steve Brandt of Sumner at 145 pounds for 1A. And at AA, it's John Royer of Marion against Jason Wedgbury of Hampton. But we're going to spend some time. Nice throw over there almost by somebody on AA.
But he lost it.
And at AAA, on top is Troy Krieger of Clinton. Is not, is Gelgard of Lewis Central. No score. Official said nothing came of that. We have 53 seconds to go. And Krieger of Clinton was short on his takedown attempt.
Open it up, man. Open
Krieger
it
of
up.
Clinton on the left in the red uniform.
Neutral. Stalemate.
Krieger got to the finals with a 56-second pin, a 5:41 pin, and a 10-7 decision. Gelgard had an 8-2 decision, a 20-9 major decision, and a 7-2 win in the semifinals. Single throw. Very nice, very pretty.
Gelgard of Lewis Central. Now you see why he's undefeated this year.
Used a nice single arm throw there to come over for the 2-point takedown.
So it's 2-0 with just a couple of seconds to go in the first period. Good way to end the period for Gelgard. Let's
right
see
here.
it.
This is the single arm throw right there. He just dropped down, lowered his level, and got real tight on the shoulder. Came across for the 2 points.
Hey, Green, stay
Nice
set.
execution.
And Krieger, who's had some pins in this tournament, looked like he was setting up to try to throw himself, and he got surprised. Tight waist for Gelgard. Switch for Krieger. He didn't have to complete it. He's out. 2-1 is the score in favor of Gelgard. Nice counter here by Krieger, but Gelgard keeps the leg. He's the man with the single leg attack.
Little
little scary there for Mike Exline. He wants to take him off the knee. Didn't like the way the angle was going. So with 1:25 to go in the second period, and Jelgard on your right in the dark uniform leading 2-1. We're back at it.
Stalemate, come on, man, work out of that, let's go.
Microphone on the official, as you can tell, Mike Exline, you can hear him saying stalemate. Locked horns down on the mat. Stalemate again. Less than a minute to go, second period. 2-1 in favor of Jelgard on the right. That's a long single leg shot by Krieger. It's a little short. He won't be able to score off that.
In a single A match, Joe Kilberg from Bellevue leads 4-0. 35 seconds left in the second period over Steve Brandt from Sumner.
Wedgbury is leading John Royer. Wedgbury of Hampton is over Royer 3-1 at Double A. This is Triple A. Jelgard on the left leads 2-1. But here comes Krieger. He's in tight.
Jelgard has some nice balance there,
Yes,
Doug.
he does, doesn't he?
Krieger is used to being able to throw most wrestlers, and here's a kid, Jelgard, who's keeping his balance well, and you can see why he is, like you said, undefeated.
20 seconds to go here, Tim, in the second period.
There, Coach Bob Luters and assistant Kenny Wilkins that we just saw a glimpse of from Clinton, Krieger's coach.
And Jelgard made a really quick shot with just right on the whistle and has taken over here 4-1. Krieger is hurt. We're calling timeout. Bob Luters goes out to look at him. Let's see what happened.
Oh, head. It kind of just dazed him. It really did cause Jelgard to be able to get and complete that move.
So he was able to come around under the arm as a result of that, and so it's 4-1 in favor of Jelgard now. We're at the AAA match of 145 pounds. A lot of wrestling ahead of us in the next weight class, and then on up through 189. The next 4 weight classes will be covering 1A as our initial match, and then changing off if those end early. Iowa Public Television is proud to present, too, this coming spring. We'll be announcing that we'll be broadcasting one of the nation's premier track and field events, the Drake Relays. Iowa Public TV is excited to be working with Drake on its 80th anniversary of the Relays. They'll be held April 28th and 29th. It's always a wonderful time in Relays Week. And we'll be on hand to show you the pageantry and excitement of this track and field classic. That's the 1989 Drake Relays coming this spring. Hope you plan to watch only on Iowa Public Television.
An update on the other mats, Doug. On this single A mat, it's still 4-0 in favor of Joe Kilberg over Steve Brandt with 1 minute left. And on the double A mat, the score is 5-2 in favor of Jason Wedgbury, the sophomore out of Hampton, over John Royer from Marion with 50 seconds left.
Troy Krieger starting on the bottom, trails 4-1. We have just a few seconds left to go in the second period. Krieger, after an injury, came back, started in again. Now we'll go to the third period.
We certainly have a turnaround of events. On that double, the cheer you hear is Steve Brandt throwing and pinning Joe Kilberg from Bellevue. Brandt from Sumner in single A has thrown and pinned Joe Kilberg for the win in the championship with only 29 seconds left.
In the third period here, the score is 4-1.
Neutral, reaction, neutral.
And the escape for Jelgard in the dark uniform makes it 5-1. He's coming around behind. He has another takedown, and it's 7-1. So Jelgard of Lewis Central looking to stay undefeated. And to win a state championship has widened it out to 6 points. 7-1 lead. Jelgard over Krieger.
really keeping the pressure on Krieger hard here. Jelgaard is. He's wrestled a very solid match, leading 7-1. But as we just saw in the other match, it ain't over till it's over, Doug, because that was 29 seconds left, and Brandt was behind 4-0 and threw his opponent Kilberg to the mat and pinned him.
Tight waist, real tight waist and bar arm, and Jelgaard full control here with 40 seconds to go. Jelgaard leads 7-1. Jelgaard still fully in control, but the official, Mike Exline, doesn't like the looks of what's happening with the knee there and stops it. 25 seconds to go, and it's 7-1 in favor of Jelgaard. This is 145 pounds AAA championship live from Veterans Auditorium. Krieger would like to switch, but he's having no luck. That's a warning against Jelgaard from Mike Exline. He says that he's not working. On top, he's leading 7-1. He doesn't want to take any major chances here. He's 10 seconds away from the state championship. Five seconds away.
Keeping the leg hooked right here. He's going to celebrate a championship right here. Undefeated year. 37-0, Doug.
From Lewis Central to Council Bluffs, this is Doug Jelgaard, whose coach Dick Blatt has to be pleased. You always have to be pleased when you have one of your young men go through a year with an unblemished record. Let's go to the awards for 140 pounds. First to 1A.
Class 1A 140-pound awards. Coach Brad Bucknell of Postville. Sixth place, John Fisher, Jackson Junction, Turkey Valley. Fifth place, Corey Yoder, Belmont. Fourth place, Cale Hoke, Liberty Center, Southeast Warren. Third place, Jason Weeda, Traer, North Tama. Runner-up, Randy Heidemann, Janesville. And the 1A 140-pound champion from Postville, Shannon Bucknell.
The 1A champion, Shannon Bucknell. Let's see how the 1A team race is going right now. And there they are, Lisbon by still a point.
And Belle Plaine came close, but they came up short because Griffin's state championship at 130 gave Lawrence Marathon a trophy.
And Belle Plaine did very well. They had two champions here. Let's go to the 2A championships at 140.
2A 140-pound awards. Assistant coach Don Ask of St. Ansgar. Sixth place, Steve Anderson, Audubon. Fifth place, Brant Pennington, Williamsburg. Fourth place, Rob Moore, Tama, South Tama County. Third place, Brent Loken, Forest City. Runner-up, Jay Nelson, Dallas Center Grimes. And the 2A 140-pound champion from St. Ansgar, Jeremy Ask.
Jeremy Ask on the top step. Let's see the 2A standings.
Again, close there for the trophies. Glenwood, of course, wins the title, but Eagle Grove sneaks in there by one because Storm Lake is done now. They've had their two finalists. Stacy Rice bringing them up to a third-place trophy. In fact, his win gave him the trophy, Doug.
Presenting the Class 3A 140-pound awards, Coach Bob Dara of West Des Moines Dowling. Sixth place, Mark Hamilton, Cedar Falls. Fifth place, Chris Kelson, Sioux City East. Fourth place, Anthony Tomeo, Council Bluffs TJ. Third place, Keith Albert, Dubuque Hempstead. Runner-up, Jason Welch, West Des Moines Valley. And the 3A 140-pound champion from West Des Moines Dowling, Jeff Filer.
Undefeated year. And here are the team standings in AAA. The team standings with the three teams over 100. How about that?
Still going, too.
Looks like West Waterloo. West Waterloo is the champion team. Now let's go to Dean Borg.
not over till it's over. Steve Brandt of Sumner knows that. He was trailing 4-0 going into the third period this match with unbeaten Joe Kilberg of Bellevue. But late in that period, he scored a takedown, and with 29 seconds to go, a fall. Steve Brandt, the champion from Sumner at 145 in Class A. Dick?
We had a similar affair in Class AA where John Royer of Marion was trailing throughout the match, and his opponent, Jason Wedgbury, the sophomore from Hampton. But in the last 20 seconds, it was Royer with a lateral drop right there to take Wedgbury to his back and pick up a 5-point move to go ahead. And, of course, he ended up with the three-pointer and the decision. John Royer, the senior from Marion, your state champion at 145. Doug?
Well, how about that? A couple of lightning strikes there at 145 pounds made things thrilling for the people here in Veterans Auditorium, where we're about to go to 152. And here we're going to change levels again. We're going to 1A from now through 189 and start with Bruce Keenan of Jackson Junction, Turkey Valley against undefeated Brian Schmitz, 37 and zip from Lisbon. And the AA match will be Decorah's Ryan Kittleson against Glenwood's Jeff Jens, champion Glenwood team. These are both undefeated wrestlers at AA. And at AAA, West Des Moines Valley's Kurt Benetham, undefeated, against Des Moines Roosevelt's Robert Edmonds. All right, let's get on that number 1A match here. Bruce Keenan against Brian Schmitz of Lisbon. And Schmitz gets the first takedown to take a 2-0 lead.
Schmitz has been a real solid performer, the only undefeated wrestler on the Lisbon team. His name sounds familiar, but the town doesn't. He placed for Waco of Olds last year, now wrestling for Lisbon, undefeated. Very solid performer.
37 and 0, and his team has the state championship locked up now in 1A. And he has a cradle locked up personally. Underneath, but he's not going to be able to do anything with it, and official John Monroe of Indianola calls him away from it.
Also, this is icing on the cake for Lisbon because they're 1 point ahead, but Clarksville does not have another wrestler, so they have won the state championship, and now they'd like to win it with 2 state champions. But Keenan is going to have something to say about that. Keenan with a record of 27-3-1 this year for Jackson Junction, Turkey Valley.
That's Schmitz in the black, Keenan in the red uniform. Schmitz leads 2-0. Schmitz is still considered in control. There was no escape given in that situation.
Coach Smith says this is Schmidt's favorite position on top. He's a legger, he arm bars, he likes to tilt. He really likes to be on top. You see him control with the spiral ride right here.
Now he puts the leg in. This is the 152-pound class. Cross face. He's playing tough on the head up there, isn't he?
Yeah, he keeps the pressure. Schmitz has kept the pressure on Keenan real high and real hard.
So that's the end of the first period.
He drives in, he has his arm behind the knee here, controlling the head, looking for a cradle as he's coming down, but what he really does is just take his control of the head and push Keenan out of position to get the 2 points.
Keenan's on top, Schmitz on the bottom as we start the second period. Schmitz doesn't want to stay in there, he rolls, but Keenan follows very nicely and stays behind. Now a simple stand-up, but they're out of bounds. So Schmitz is still not away. Bruce Keenan, Jackson Junction of Turkey Valley in Northeast Iowa. Slower stand-up this time by Schmitz. He's going to work on the hands first.
That's one thing. You're never going to get away if you don't clear the hands. And more young wrestlers are learning it. More and more coaches are making sure that that's the first thing they teach from underneath. It's just not going to happen if you don't have the hands.
Schmitz manages to face his man now. But it could be a reversal if he can make something out of this single leg position instead of an escape.
Was able to turn it into a double leg, Schmitz.
And he got a reversal.
The reversal drives in through a kind of a double leg reversal.
Makes it 4-0. Schmitz in the second period with 45 seconds to go. Brian Schmitz, a undefeated wrestler for what's going to be a state championship team. Lisbon, they have locked up first place here in the 1A division.
Ryan Kittleson from Decorah is leading Jeff Jens from Glenwood on the AA mat 1-0 with 8 seconds left in the second period.
I got green stalling right here.
Just two hands touching in the middle of the back. Go from there.
On the 3A mat, West Des Moines Valley is hoping to win a state championship here with Kurt Benetham, who's 35-0. He's ahead 5-0 over Robert Edmonds from Des Moines Roosevelt, another hometown battle of Des Moines schools.
2 minutes gone. The second period is over. Now we go to the third period. And Schmitz, the man on top, leads 4-0. Keenan hasn't been able to get away from him yet. Schmitz with the leg in. Using the power half up on top. Gotta make something out of it there.
He's got a strong half here if he can just pry it a little bit harder. But Keenan's doing a nice job of getting himself into a stalemate there.
Keenan is a different physical type from Schmitz. He's a tall and rangy. He's had a fine year. 27-3, 1 draw.
Keenan's road to the finals was a 9-2 decision, a fall in a minute 50, and an 8-3 decision in the semifinals. Whereas Schmitz came through with a 12-1 major decision, a fall in 3 minutes and 12 seconds, and another fall, a real fast one, in 1:29 in the semifinals.
A minute 20 to go. Schmitz leads 4-0, and Keenan's been able to do nothing with him here. He hasn't been able to get away at all.
Brian Schmidt's win in the semis that fall was over Jeremy Fierks from Clarksville. I think that match had a lot to say.
Yes, it did. That was a matchup between the two contending teams. Schmitz just lost a point because he was penalized for stalling, makes it 4-1. They were both warned, but it was a point. Now it's 4-2 as Keenan comes out, and we have a match here with 55 seconds to go. We've seen it several times already tonight. The match isn't over. Takedown for Schmitz makes it 6-2. 40 seconds to go. Brian Schmitz of Lisbon leading Bruce Keenan of Jackson Junction 6-2. Half a minute to go. Again, legs in the power half. Stalemate.
With 7 seconds left on the AA mat, it's 1-1. Both wrestlers are on their feet. It's 1-1 between Ryan Kittleson and Jeff Jens, Decorah and Glenwood.
Two undefeated wrestlers.
And they're going to overtime.
And if they're in overtime, we may very well see some of that, because this one is almost over, and Brian Schmitz is leading 6-2. In control at the end, Brian Schmitz of Lisbon, a state championship for the state championship team. 6-2. Now let's go to overtime. We'll go to that AA match between Kittleson and Jens. This is our first chance to see Glenwood wrestlers.
Escapes was the name of the game over there. One escape in the second period. One escape in the third period sets up the overtime.
So it's 1-1. Kittleson and Jens.
Both juniors, both undefeated.
This is Double A. Out in the middle of the mat, waiting for his man to come to him, is Ryan Kittleson Decorah in the blue. He had one draw this year. That was the only blemish on his record. And out comes Jeff Jens of Glenwood in the black. He went 34 and nothing before tonight. They've settled nothing. These are an overtime 3 one-minute periods. Makes us start examining the criteria again because they were both 1-1. Number of escapes is even. They may get down to the last criteria if nobody scores, so the official, Mark Bean of Iowa City, brings him back to the middle.
And from what I understand, there's been no warnings for stalling, and
so it can come down to aggressiveness, you know, in a situation like that if they're tied. That's the last criteria. The official and the assistant referee, if they would get together and decide themselves.
And then if that's a tie, what happens? The head referee wins?
Well, if you were the head referee, you'd win, wouldn't you?
Mark Bean's doing a fine job of refereeing for a number of years now. Head referee there. Of course, his father, Clyde Bean, Iowa City High.
That's the end of the first period. 1 minute's gone. Now we get to try it on the mat. Who's up, who's down. And escapes are really major. Remember, we don't talk about riding time here, so it doesn't matter when you escape unless it's going to affect the judgment of the official about how aggressive one man or the other was. So it's 1-1 here, starting the second period. Kittleson of Decorah starts on top. Jens of Glenwood starts on the bottom. Each man escaped from the other in regulation time, and that was all the scoring they did.
Kittleson's putting a lot of pressure, pushing forward and looking possibly for the suck back on Jens. Kittleson in the blue from Decorah on top over Jens from Glenwood.
But Kittleson's doing a good job, and he's used up about half of this minute. See what happens. Who reacts off the whistle can be everything. Jens trying to control the hands, then come up. He did a good job of it, and he escaped. So now it's 1-0. It's 2-1 after that escape in favor of Jens.
Well, you really want to see one of the boys win. You want to see it done on the mat. You don't want to have to put it in the hands of the officials for everybody's sake.
You're hearing Tim Johnson there. I'm Doug Brown. We're on Iowa Public Television's coverage, live coverage in Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines of the wrestling championships of the state of Iowa. High school championships. Now we go the other way around. Kittleson goes to the bottom, trailing 2-1.
He let him go.
So we go on the feet. And aggressiveness may settle it.
Well, let's all root for a takedown here. And Doug, I don't care who gets it, but let's root for something.
2-2. Because otherwise, it's going to come right down. It's going to come down to the officials deciding who is more aggressive.
Right. They don't want to have to do that. They're doing the best job they can, but and
slick move again, this time by Jens of Glenwood, and he has Kittleson on his back. The same thing that cost the man over on the double A mat a while ago. 19 seconds. 15. He escaped the pin, but not the 5-point move.
A dramatic win. He lets him up, takes him down to his back to win.
And there it is, a big move in the third period of the overtime by Jeff Jens of Glenwood, and he wins the state championship. How about that? Will that satisfy you for a takedown, TJ?
They settled it on the mat, and that's why we always want it done. Gutsy performance.
Jeff Jens.
A very excited coach there from Glenwood, Bob Dyer.
Let's go to 145, 1A awards.
Sumner. Presenting the Class 2A 145-pound awards, Coach Lloyd Schaefer of Marion. Sixth place, Keith Holst, Missouri Valley. Fifth place, Darren Brokel, Mount Vernon. Fourth place, Lance Christensen, Norwalk. Third place, Jim Angren, Albia. Runner-up, Jason Wedgbury, Hampton. And the 2A 145-pound champion from Marion, John Royer.
Who made a big move in the last few seconds to win.
Big 5-point move, won it for him.
He'll remember that. A lot of people will in Marion. John Royer. Now the next award winners to come up, you see them coming up on the stand now at 145 pounds.
145-pound
Are the
awards,
Triple A's.
Coach Dick Blett of Lewis Central Council Bluffs. Sixth place, Matt Morris, Des Moines Hoover. Fifth place, Colby Burke, Cedar Rapids Kennedy. Fourth place, Todd Kirkland, Charles City. Third place, Scott Toothman, Waterloo West. Runner-up, Troy Krieger, Clinton. And the 3A 145-pound champion from Lewis Central Council Bluffs, Doug Kelgard.
Undefeated year for that talented young wrestler, Doug Kelgard. Let's go to Dick Trotter.
All right, Dean, your state champion at 152 pounds was Kurt Benethum of West Des Moines Valley. Here, Benethum maintains complete control over Robert Edmonds of Des Moines Roosevelt for a 9-4 decision. And now Dean Borg and a guest.
And a happy guest, too. He's Coach Brad Smith of Lisbon, who's just won another championship, it appears, for that eastern Iowa town. Congratulations, Brad. It looked like Clarksville was nipping at your heels this year.
Yeah, all season long, and during this tournament, they were right on us, and it just made us wrestle that much harder, and it brought the best out of our kids.
More people alive than you did.
Yeah, they had 3 wrestling back this afternoon. We had 2. They had 2 in the finals. We had 2. It was just staying after it and doing the things that we've worked on all year long.
Just a real quick question here as we go back to Doug. Do you like the changes this year in the weights?
I do. I mean, for our team this year, it didn't hinder us at all. The only objection I have with the weights, maybe add a lower weight, a 95-pound weight class to give the little kid a chance to compete.
Thank Coach Smith.
You bet. Thank you.
Doug?
Thank you, Dean. We're going to 160 pounds now, and we're still with the 1As at our first match. The one we're going to follow, Roy Roritz of Tiffin, Clear Creek, near Iowa City, against Wes Pargin of Montezuma for the state championships at 160 pounds. And we'll keep our eye on those other mats, too. These wrestlers both have blue uniforms, but the Montezuma wrestler, Wes Pargin, has the tights on, the long blue tights. The other matches are AA. Mike Vanderwoode of Rock Rapids Central Lion against Chad Stavner of Glenwood, another undefeated Glenwood wrestler, going for a team that has already won the state championship. And at AAA, looking for a good match.
Yeah, great match down there with Curtis White from Des Moines Dowling, defending champions, going against Steve Williams from Charles City. They've wrestled a couple of times this year, White winning.
Our primary match, however, is 1A, Roy Rorit of Tiffin, Clear Creek, against Wes Pargin of Montezuma. And again, that's Pargin on the left with the leggings, with the tights, long blue. But Rorit is coming around for the takedown, and he leads 2-0. 2-zip, favor of the Tiffin wrestler. using the tight waist. Now Pargin
coming in for a reversal.
Standard switch. Doesn't have it yet.
At least the referee hasn't called it yet.
He does. He has. Just give the news, please, there. DJ. 2-2. Two-two with 17 seconds left in the first period. Pargin against Rohret, and Pargin of Montezuma is in the advantage position on top.
Isn't that what color's all about, Doug?
That's what it's for.
Okay.
Down easy, down easy.
Rohret stands up. Can he escape with 7 seconds to go? Doesn't look like it now.
Go.
That's the end of the period. 2-2.
Your choice. Goes to you, Red.
The choice is going to Rohret,
Goes down.
and he takes down. So Rohret starts down as we begin the second period.
Steve Williams from Charles City is leading 2-0 on the 3A mat with 40 seconds left in the first period over Curtis White from Dowling.
So Pargin like to ride with a spiral ride. Rohret gets to his feet, so Pargin puts the leg in, and the official, Larry Blaker's not going to leave that up to fate. He's going to stop that position right there.
You can't jump up on him like that. You gotta take him down if you can.
On the AA mat, it's 4-3 in favor of Vanderwood from Rock Rapids Central Lyon over Stavder from Glenwood.
This is Pargin with a tight waist. Leg in. Starting the second period.
No, let's have some action up here now.
That's 2-2.
You gotta work it hard if you're gonna put it on.
You can hear Larry Blaker of Perry, the official, talking to him. He knows that Pargin can work in that top position with the leg, and he's going to force him to do it, to use it. And again, Pargin goes to the top. 2-2 with 1:20 to go in the second period. Rohret's on his feet. He doesn't have the hands, though.
Take him down.
Now Rohret faces his man and gets the reversal.
He kept his head in there tight. It was a nice job coming from a kind of a front headlock situation all the way around for the 2 points.
2 reversals. Pargin trails. Rohret now up 4-2. This is Rohret of Tiffin, Clear Creek. Half a minute to go.
At AAA, it's 2-1 in favor of Steve Williams with 1:14 left in the second period. And over on the AA mat, something happened, and it had to have been a fall that Mike Vanderwood from Rock Rapids Central Lyon is the state champion.
All right, that was the way that this is the way Pargin of Montezuma is trying to escape from Rohret.
Let's work at it.
Not having much luck.
Rohret's got a lot of length there. They both do. It's a lengthy leverage type match right here. And here again, Rohret
went in between the legs.
Yeah, laces the leg, and it's looking. He's got the half
Nelson now.
That's a nice execution, lacing the legs, throwing the half in, and trying to go for 2, but time ran out.
So now we've come through 2 periods, 4-2 in favor of Rohret.
And over on the 3A mat, there's an upset in the making. Steve Williams is leading defending champion. Curtis White, Williams from Charles City, over White from Dowling, 5-1 with 18 seconds left in the second period.
Now Rohret is on top here with a 2-point lead and the advantage position. Officials are talking it over. Referee and the assistant referee, and I think the problem is that they, looked at the clock in 1
That's not
second.
Jim White, of course. That's Greg Stevens, former Hawkeye wrestler for Iowa, and that's the assistant coach for Clear Creek. Jim White's the head coach. And they're sitting together in the corner.
All right, Rorett goes to work, leading by 2. Crossface. Well, Parson traps his man's head.
Watch it out, watch it out!
But Pargin on the bottom is in a tough position here. 1 minute and 25 seconds to go, and he's down by 2 points.
Get the toe, get off the toe!
They're gonna have to watch the way the angle of the toe was there.
Let's go start over again. Fail me.
Rowett's putting on a good ride. 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in this match, and he leads by 2, 4-2. Over Pargin. But there's nothing settled yet. Good move by Pargin off the whistle, but Rowett's managed to counter it.
Able to stay behind the arms, got the legs in, and here comes Pargin, and here comes Rorett. Man, I'll tell you, they're really flailing.
Rorett managed to keep the arm, and he stopped Pargin's move there. We have 45 seconds to go, and it's still a 2-point lead for the man on top, Rorett. He has the arm barred now.
Straight over the back, straight across, straight over.
He's going to come off to the side and try to drive his man over.
Trying to keep the arm bar legal here.
Straight over.
20 seconds to go. Half Nelson, he's got a good tough move now.
All he does is have to stay behind the arms right here.
But here comes Pargin. Tough position. It's 4-2. But Rorett's managing to keep the arm behind. He has that arm barred, and he's going to win.
And he wins it for Clear Creek. And we got 25 seconds left on the other match, 3A. It's 7-5 Williams over White. Williams from Charles City over White from Dowling. 15 seconds left, and it's 7-5.
That's 7-5 at the AAA. You're watching the wrap-up of 1A here between Rorett of Tiffin Clear Creek and Pargin of Montezuma. Rorett's hand goes up. He's the winner, 4-2, state champion.
There's the happy coaches right there.
For Clear Creek. Now we're going to the AAA match. This is
and
3A.
Another happy coach is Coach Nick Hobbs from Charles City with the champion Steve Williams.
Steve Williams,
the defending champion.
That's Curtis White, who just lost. Bob Dara's outstanding 160-pounder. He's going to have to settle for second this year. Steve Williams is the winner over Curtis White.
There's Nick and Steve hugging each other. It's a great win.
Now let's get the awards at 152 pounds.
Awards, Coach Brad Smith of Lisbon. 6th place, Ryan Sullivan, Woodbine. 5th place, Brad Chambers, Trainer. 4th place, Jeremy Freaks, Clarksville. 3rd place, Dan Rule, Parkersburg. Runner-up, Bruce Keenan, Turkey Valley, Jackson Junction. And the 1A 152-pound champion from Lisbon, Brian Schmitz.
That's Brian, who finished an undefeated year. Undefeated year for Schmitz and a state championship Lisbon team. Managed to put it away tonight in a tough battle with Clarksville. Now 152 pounds.
Presenting the Class 2A
Double
152-pound awards, Coach Bob Dyer of Glenwood. 6th place, John Robinson, New Hampton. 5th place, Todd Clausen, St. Ansgar. 4th place, Brad Wilson, Marion. 3rd place, Shannon McLaughlin, Norwalk. Runner-up, Ryan Kittleson Decora. And the 2A 152-pound champion from Glenwood, Jeff Jens.
And he made a big move to win his championship and go undefeated. Looks like he's serious about it.
Yes, he does. Looks like he wanted that for a long time.
I think so. So now the double A's dismount, and up come the triple A's. At
Presenting the
152.
Class 3A 152-pound awards, Coach Jim Underfer, West Des Moines Valley. 6th place, Craig Oll, Eldridge North Scott. 5th place, Jake Annenson, Webster City. 4th place, Chad Beeman, Lewis Central Council Bluffs. 3rd place, Rob Bleakley, Cedar Rapids Prairie. Runner-up, Robert Edmonds, Des Moines Roosevelt. And the Class 3A 152-pound champion from West Des Moines Valley, Kurt Benetham.
Undefeated year for Kurt Benetham of West Des Moines Valley, and a championship. Let's go to Dean Borg.
Well, Doug, at 160 pounds on the double-A mat, 2 undefeated young men, Mike Vanderwood of Rock Rapids and Chad Stovner of Glenwood. But after 2 minutes and 24 seconds, it was Mark Vanderwood because he threw in a 3/4 Nelson. He said it's his favorite pin hold, 27th pin so far this year, 16 of them, he said, with that hold. And he defeated Chad Stovner with a pin 24 seconds into the second period. Dick Trotter.
All right, Dean, not to be denied tonight was senior Steve Williams of Charles City. He was simply magnificent, coming out and getting the first takedown, maintaining control throughout the match. There you see Williams with a takedown. His win 7-5 over last year's state champion, Curtis White of West Des Moines Dowling. Doug?
Now the weight classes begin to go up. A little wider distribution of the weights here. 171 pounds now. And we'll be following the 1As. First of all, our primary match is Craig Stork of Anita versus Tim O'Brien of Stuart Menlo.
Joe Malachek is on the double-A mat, or Dave Malachek is on the double-A mat.
Against Scott Stogdill of Glenwood.
Right, and he's off to a 5-0 lead with a takedown and to the back.
We'll be showing you a little of that. That's at the double-A level. That's it right there. And our triple-A match at this weight, 171, is Craig Lamont of Eldridge North Scott against Corey Manning of West Des Moines Dowling. All right. So we're going to show you the 1A, which is just starting here. Having a little trouble with the clock. They want to run off 6 seconds here to get us up to snuff, and here we go. Craig Stork of Anita in the purple uniform against Tim O'Brien of Stuart Menlo in the black. O'Brien, they're trading front headlocks here. Stork on the right with his back to you. Center. 171-pound class. Oh, that's a little bit too long a shot by Stork, and O'Brien comes around for the first takedown.
A little bit too long a shot, and then O'Brien did a nice job of catching the arm, doing a little short drag and going around the side, so he really turned bad position by Craig Stork into a 2-point takedown. Nice execution by Tim O'Brien from Stuart Menlo.
Get a little over anxious maybe in these championship matches, and you want to get aggressive and take one from farther out than you normally would. There's the escape, makes it 2-1. O'Brien. A minute to go. We go back to the center. Tim O'Brien on the left, Craig Stork on the right. O'Brien has the takedown and Stork the escape. 2-1.
Get in there.
They both going to keep the outside open position. They don't want to lock up. Now they do. Stuart Menlo, Cyclones. Then comes O'Brien.
Craig Stork's way to the championships, 10-2 victory, major decision. 13-4 victory, major decision. A fall from 5:36. He's kind of on a tear coming into the finals. Tim O'Brien, on the other hand, a fall in 1:24, a 7-2 decision, and a close 4-3 match in the semifinals.
10 seconds to go here in the first period at 171, 1A. O'Brien. Likes to shoot the legs. And he has the only takedown. It's 2-1. There's the end of the first period.
Green down.
O'Brien prefers down. It was his choice.
Set green, cover red.
Okay, let's see how they do on the mat. Stork held him for 14 seconds there. They'll go back to the center. But that man, O'Brien, on the bottom is leading by 1. Come to his feet twice without the hands.
He's staying pretty low. He's going to have to work up here before the referee says, hey, you got to come up and work it. Got to go for the fall. In the 2A class, Dave Malachek from Osage has built his lead to 7-0 over Scott Stodgdale from Glenwood.
Looks like Bob Dara has one of his wrestlers really fired up now. Corey Manning is leading Craig Lamont 8-0 at AAA.
Corey Manning's 46-2-1, going for his 47th win of the year. Not too far behind Thyler.
Stork is still on top here with a minute to go, but just momentarily O'Brien is out. Escape. O'Brien leads 3-1. Nice little short arm drag from on top. And O'Brien takes a 5-1 lead. Five to 1 lead for O'Brien. He's trying to suck Stork in for a throw. And he got him on his back just momentarily, not enough time for a near fall. O'Brien of Stuart Memlo. Lost once this year, and that's all. Ten seconds to go.
Green just hanging on top.
Here's a warning against O'Brien. Tim O'Brien took a look down at his ankle to see, was that me?
Head down.
And it was. So it's 5-1 with the man on top, warned for stalling. 8 seconds to go. That's the end of the second period, 5-1.
Red down or neutral. Red down.
And Stork goes to the bottom.
Set.
Well, I think he'd prefer to be here. He's down by 4.
Red.
O'Brien doesn't even try to hold him. Lets him go. It's 5-2. Stork has been shooting from the outside. O'Brien's playing a little keep away too, but he doesn't dare to play too much of it.
Well, Stork tends to reach a little bit, and O'Brien has been able to drop his level and get in, but he's hanging on now and needs to improve his position. Right now, he's getting in worse position all the time, and they get a stalemate called.
Don Crandall, official for Oskaloosa, calls stalemate. 3-point lead for O'Brien. In the black, on the left. He has the double underhook. Not much happening. They're on the edge of the mat. Still a 3-point lead for O'Brien.
And nothing's changed on the other mats. except for the scores mounting up for the winners, 9-0.
First good shot by Stork. He's in on a high single on the edge of the mat.
Coming close for 2 points right here. He's really got it.
The official says not yet. Now he has it. Okay, now it's 5-4. That's the first takedown for Stork.
No whistle, you're down.
And I have a suspicion that Stork will let him go and try to take him down. This is again a coach's decision. That's what happens. Now it's 6-4 in favor of O'Brien. And we've seen these last-minute turnarounds. Warning against O'Brien. A penalty, and that makes it 6-5. Before the move was made, the official penalized O'Brien. And now a takedown by either man is decisive. It's a one-point match.
Well, there's not much you can say right here with 15 seconds left in the match. He's either got to do it any way he can.
Stork is trailing with only 4 seconds to go.
In the center, in the center. In the center.
And it ends right there. A 1-point lead and a victory for Tim O'Brien of Stuart Menlo. He's the 1A champion at 171 pounds. He had to hold on at the end after piling up a 4-point lead. Here are the awards now at 160 pounds.
Class 1A 160-pound awards. Coach Jim White of Tiffin, Clear Creek. 6th place, Andy Bowman, Lake Mills. 5th place, Scott Capper, Clarksville. 4th place, Matt Strait, Logan Magnolia. 3rd place, Carter Staver, Afton East Union. Runner-up, Wes Parjan, Montezuma. And the 1A 160-pound champion from Tiffin, Clear Creek, Troy Rorick.
That's Troy Rorick. Won a tough one against Wes Parjan of Montezuma. But he's the state champion, sure enough. Here come the double A's.
Presenting the Class 2A 160-pound awards, Coach Hank Grant of Rock Rapids Central Lyon. 6th place, Toby Bush, Algona. 5th place, Stacy Collier, Winterset. 4th place, Sean Pippert, Louisa Muscatine. 3rd place, Matt Nerum, West Union, North Fayette. Runner-up, Chad Stouter, Glenwood. And the 2A 160-pound champion from Rock Rapids Central Lyon, Mike Vanderwoody.
And he won it in spectacular fashion tonight. Champion from Rock Rapids. Those are the AA champions at 160. We have still 2 weight classes to wrestle here, and the awards to show right now at AAA at 160 pounds.
Presenting the Class 3A 160-pound awards, Coach Nick Hobbs of Charles City. 6th place, Dan Chadema, Cedar Rapids Prairie. 5th place, Dave Bendorf, Lewis Central Council Bluffs. 4th place, Danny O'Berry, Ames. 3rd place, Mike Newman, Waterloo West. Runner-up, Curtis White, West Des Moines Dowling. And the 3A 160-pound champion from Charles City, Steve Williams.
Well, I know one happy dad, Wendell Williams, who's been a friend of wrestling for a long time, is ecstatic tonight.
Well, so is his coach, Nick Hobbs, an old high school teammate of yours. Here's Dean Borg.
Dave Molachek of Osage was last year's 167-pound champ with a new weight class this year in AA at 171 pounds. He repeated as champion, dominated his match with Scott Stogdale of Glenwood and decisioned him 7-1. Dave Belichick of Osage, the champ at 171 AA. Doug, Vic.
Okay, Dean, it was another performance in the 171-pound weight division. Corey Manning of West Des Moines Dowling has won 9-0 over Greg Lamont of Eldridge North Scott. At this time, with me is Bob Dwyer, the coach of the year in Class 2A, the coach of Glenwood, state champion. Bob, how do you feel?
Well, I don't know. The feelings come over from last night. When we had 3 kids get in the finals, I can't even hardly describe that feeling. It's just kind of carrying over tonight. I think I'll feel even better when they give the trophies out here in a little bit.
I'm sure you were in 13 years at Glenwood, and now you've got it all.
Yeah, and we're hoping we're going to be back and doing it again next year. It's great. It's super.
We'll be looking for you next year, Bob.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Back to you, Doug.
You bet. And hope Bob gets his voice back by tomorrow, too.
Well, at least by next year.
Yeah. 189 pounds coming up. We're still at 1A, and our principal match, the one we're going to start with, is between Mike Isaacson of Lake Mills against Mike Funky of Edgewood Colesburg, the second Edgewood Colesburg youngster to be in the championship round. And at 2A, we'll keep our eye also on Dave Verba of Eagle Grove against Tyrone Roberts of Tamar. And at AAA, we'll be watching Tony Berger of Harlan wrestle Glenn Wilder of state champion team West Waterloo. But 1A is the principal attraction here.
Well, not only was Kevin Hogan at 112 Edgewood Colesburg's first state champion ever, but these 2 young men were their first finalists ever in the sport of wrestling, and now they're going for 2.
Yeah, that's quite an effort. Now we have obviously one of those old-fashioned searches that we haven't seen in a while. It's a contact lens out.
Larry Luttrell, head referee, finds it.
Well, it's always nice when the referee's the one with the eyes.
No, I said he found the eyes. I don't know, and he put them in the wrestler. Larry's been one of the fine referees for a long time.
This is again between Mike Isaacson of Lake Mills, who's 27-1. Mike Funky of Edgewood Colesburg, 33-1. And the score is 2-1 here in favor of Isaacson.
Score also 2-1 score with 35 seconds left in the first period. On the 3A mat, Glenn Wilder from Waterloo West leads Tony Berger from Harlan 2-1.
And Isaacson is the man with the lighter uniform, the purple on the left. The black uniform is Mike Funky of Edgewood Colesburg. After Isaacson's takedown, Funky escaped. Back to the center again with a 2-1 score. 2-1 score.
Glenn Wilder from Waterloo West has put some icing on the cake for their state championship by pinning Tony Berger in the first period.
Get out there, guys. Stay in here, son. Don't look up.
That happened at AAA round. So West Waterloo has another individual champion.
It happened with only 1 second left in the period, Doug.
Here again comes Isaacson. Under the arm and behind, he's ahead 4-1. Second takedown. It happened with half a minute left in the first period. So Isaacson of Lake Mills now lets his man go. It's 4-2. Here comes Funky, but the underhook counter is sufficient to keep him out from under. Isaacson on the left leads 4-2.
Stay in there.
That's the end of the first period.
Red choice, red.
Tyrone Roberts from Tama, South Tama leads Dave Verba 4-2 on the AA mat. Look at that nice low single there, and he comes around for 2. Nice move
by Isaacson. Isaacson of Lake Mills. And he put a cruncher on right off the whistle to flatten Funky out. 2 takedowns for Isaacson. He's given 2 escapes, and that's all.
Isaacson keeping a lot of weight on top of Funky. Doing a nice job of riding him.
Yep. He stepped out to the side there just for a second, and Funky got to his feet. 1:26 to go in the second period.
We're in the last period on the 2A mat. The score is 4-3. Tyrone Roberts leading over Dave Gerba from Eagle Grove.
Isaacson still has the control position. Now he gives it up, and it's 4-3. 4-3.
Again, on the low single, he was in so low that he hardly had to have any effort after he was in on it because he had Funky coming forward, and he was able to complete the 2.
6-3.
Nice execution.
Isaacson moving from side to side across the back. Has Funky pretty well flattened out. Now he goes in the leg, just as Funky comes to his feet, and that's considered potentially dangerous by referee Luttrell.
I think Funky's knee locked up a little bit on him.
6-3.
Look at this low single right here. Goes to the opponent's left leg. He's in, and now he's down on the ankle, and Funky could not whizzer because it was such fine execution by Isaacson. So he went forward, and Isaacson was able to come out for 2-point takedown.
We'd like to have your comments, too, on our sports programming this winter, either on our college wrestling meets or tonight's high school tournament or our men's and women's basketball games. And if you'd like to write us, our address is Iowa Public Television Sports, care of Iowa Public Television, box 6450, 6450, Johnston, Iowa, 50131. The box number is 6450. The zip code is 50131. Isaacson leading 6-3 with a half a minute to go in the second period. Continues on top.
15 seconds left on the 2A mat. 10 seconds left with a 5-4 lead by the Tama wrestler.
And he has a lot of control.
Tyrone Roberts has just won a state championship for Coach Jay Hosky in Tama, South Tama.
And he beat Dave Verba of Eagle Grove. Here comes Isaacson on top. Lake Mills wrestler. He's been fully in command on top. I think he's being warned, however. It's true, he's not come out to the side. He's been staying parallel pretty much, taking no chances on top, and it's 6-3 with a warning against the top man, Isaacson, leading.
It's kind of like Isaacson was saying, I just wanted to see how long I could get away with that. You know, okay, he's going to call me in the second period. I got to get to work.
Third, red choice.
Go to the third period, 6-3 Isaacson. Isaacson has his choice, leading by 3. No, he's going to, I thought maybe he might go under, but he decides he wants to stay on top. Well, I made him look like a prophet.
Right. Funky shot in, but he telegraphed his move, and Isaacson was able to underhook and catch him and ward him off and kind of use the old cow catcher, come around for 2.
8-3. Now he's going to have to watch it there because he is in the pretty much in the parallel position. Now he comes out to the side, locks up a cradle. Does he have it? Now the thing about it is, unless he uses it, he could sit there until the referee calls it off, and finally, it seemed like the wise thing to do. 1:17 to go.
Isaacson, yeah, he was down on a single, but he lost it.
Got it back.
And got it back.
Not much more than a minute left. And a 5-point lead for the man doing the riding here. That fellow right there, Mike Isaacson, Lake Mills.
Really putting a lot of pressure. Isaacson is on top. See that pressure, his shoulders. He throws a half every once in a while. He controls the near wrist. He controls the far wrist. He's hopping from one side to the other, keeping a lot of pressure on Funky. Keeps him flattened out. See, once Funky tried to get to his knees, he goes back to his ankles. Really working him one side to the other.
Again, flattens him with 25 seconds to go. Comes out to the side to work on the bar arm again. It's a 5-point lead. Stalemate. Come back to the center. Gentleman from Johnston tonight was telling me that not only do we have a lot of state champions here from Iowa being made tonight, there was a young man named Ranger who wrestled for Southeast Polk. I'm not sure, but he went to Arizona after placing in the Iowa tournament and won an Arizona championship this year. So we send them all over the country. And the winner is Mike Isaacson.
Workmanlike fashion there. Isaacson wins an 8-3 victory for a Lake Mills state championship.
Over Mike Funky of Edgewood Colesburg.
And I just saw him look up to his dad and mom. I know it has to be them. He put up the #1. They put it back to him. They're excited. I hope they don't fall out of the stands. His dad just came up. Mom just came up. Sit down. I don't want you to get hurt.
189 pounds. Let's go to 171 1A awards.
6th place, Jason Anthony, Pleasantville. 5th place, Trent Naholtz, Sumner. 4th place, Sean Gordon, Dyke. 3rd place, Robbie Kammerling, Lisbon. Runner-up, Craig Stork, Anita. And the 1A 171-pound champion from Stuart Menlo, Tim O'Brien.
Tim O'Brien, he won 6-5. Close match, but he managed to hold on and beat Craig Stork for the championship. Craig Stork of Anita. Here comes the AA crowd at 171 pounds.
Presenting the Class 2A 171-pound awards, Coach Bruce Gast of Osage. 6th place, Joel Bierman, Denver. 5th place, David Gomes, Johnston. 4th place, Curtis Heidemann, New Hampton. 3rd place, Jamie Cummings, Mediapolis. Runner-up, Scott Stodgdale, Glenwood. And the 2A 171-pound champion from Osage, Dave Malachek.
A big win for Dave Malachek from a famous wrestling town, Osage. The AAAs are coming up. Remember, we still have the heavyweights, the 275-pound limit.
Presenting the Class 3A 171-pound awards, Coach Bob Dara of West Des Moines Dowling. 6th place, Mark Beeson, Oskaloosa. 5th place, Kevin High, Waterloo West. 4th place, Casey Hesseltine, Iowa City City High. 3rd place, Ryan Chambers, Webster City. Runner-up, Craig Lamont, Eldridge, North Scott. And the 3A 171-pound champion from West Des Moines Dowling, Corey Manning.
He had a shutout tonight to win his championship, Corey Manning. Are you there, Dean Borg?
I sure am, and South Tama has a champion in the person of Tyrone Roberts. At 189 pounds in AA, he decisioned Dave Verba, previously unbeaten from Eagle Grove, 5-4. Both men assessed simultaneous stalling points, but Roberts held on to a 1-point lead and brought home the championship. Dick Trotter?
All right, Dean, what a night for the West Waterloo Warhawks as Glenn Wilder ends up in a fall. You're going to see it here over Tony Berger of Harlan. The fall came in 1 minute and 59 seconds, and Coach Don Huff of West Waterloo is a very happy man. Right now with me is the 3A Coach of the Year for Iowa State High School Wrestling, Don Huff of the West Waterloo Warhawks. And Don, I think we can surely say the Warhawks are back.
Well, excuse me, they've wrestled a real good tournament. They've been wrestling real tough. We've had some losses that we thought were really going to hurt us, and everybody else just kind of picked up the slack, and we've just really had a tremendous tournament out of everybody.
You had to have a great team effort in order to take a team like Dowling, Don.
That's for sure. They've been tough all year. They're tough every year, and it's just a tribute to our kids that they can finish ahead of them in this tournament.
Congratulations, Don Huff, West Waterloo Warhawk Coach of the Year.
Thanks, Dick.
Back to you, Doug.
Thank you, Dick. I don't know a coach who has a voice left.
Well, you know, and also I think credit needs to go to another great performance in this tournament. Cedar Rapids Prairie and Coach Jim Kimball scoring over 100 points. Both Dowling and Prairie put the pressure on West Waterloo this year.
Tonight we're going to 275 pounds in the AAA class. We're going to go with the AAAs here at heavyweight. West Des Moines Dowling's Brad Henry against Cedar Falls' Matt Purdy. And these are the big guys. Dowling in the purple uniform, and the red is Cedar Falls. The other matches at 1A, we have Northwood Kensit's Brian Moritz wrestling Ackley Geneva's Drew Brandt. Moritz is undefeated this year. And at AA, it's Osceola Clark's Niles Habard against Iowa Falls' Lance Keller. And Keller is undefeated. So here we are at heavyweight. 275 pound is the limit now for heavyweights. Theoretically, if you're big enough, you could have to cut weight to make it. That's something new. Brad Henry against Matt Purdy.
This is Henry's third time to the state tournament, and now here he is in the finals, and he beat the top-ranked wrestler in the state in the semis to get here. Matt Purdy, only a sophomore, a fine-looking wrestler. Going to be heard from a lot in the next couple of years.
Only a sophomore. And he didn't start out in the 98-pound class. We have a lot of sophomores, too. It's the Iowa Public Television coverage of State Championship Wrestling. We'll have the team trophies awarded. Individual awards, of course, for this weight and the 189 are yet to be done, too. No score here. We've gone through a minute and a half of the first period. Not much in the way of leg shots here. Henry is the taller of the two, as you can see, on the man on the right.
Dowling's going for their third championship tonight, individual championship. Cedar Falls going for their second. Coach Gene Doyle. Cedar Falls have an individual champion already.
Five seconds to go. Timeout for Henry to put his headgear back in place. That's the end of the first period, no score. The choice here will go to Henry, but he decides to defer. And Purdy chooses under. He goes underneath. Try to escape.
Brad Henry looks like he's got a lot of leverage. He's a nice size for a heavyweight and uses his weight well here, distributes it over Purdy and makes it awful tough for the man underneath. Purdy's able to come to a tripod. That's where he wants to get to. He doesn't want to get flattened out under a man like Henry, which just happened.
Purdy has him pretty well under control right now. Pretty well under control, you might say.
Well, Purdy is pretty well under control by Henry.
Pardon me. I'm beginning to see the wrong names after a while. Not that I didn't before. But we're at heavyweight, 275-pound limitation. There's no score here, 1:08 to go in the second period. And the man on top, Brad Henry, has been on top since the beginning of the period.
Well, I can't understand it, Doug. There's only, what, 78 wrestlers here tonight. Keep track of.
But you're keeping track of most of them.
No,
I only have a few. He's one of them.
Brad Henry, West Des Moines Dowling, 4th finalist. They've already won 2 championships.
Brian Moritz is leading Drew Brand at heavyweight on 1A. Moritz undefeated from Northwood Kensett over Brand of Ackley, Geneva.
On the 2A mat.
And that's just starting the third period, by the way.
Lance Keller from Iowa Falls is leading Niles Pavard from Osceola College. 6-5. With a minute and a half left in the match.
Henry got Purdy stacked up there, but he wasn't able to get a near fall out of it, and the official thought it was potentially dangerous on the neck.
On the single A mat, Brian Moritz from Northwood Kensett leads with a minute and a half left. 5-3 over Drew Brandt from Ackley, Geneva.
Purdy comes up to his tripod again, but Henry's been able to control him from there. We have 7 seconds to go.
Well, he's done a nice job at distributing his weight, like I said. Oh, it's close. I almost spoke too soon because that Cedar Falls guy, old Purdy, just almost got out of there 1 point, but he did not, according to the referee.
And he only has 1 second left to do anything here. No score at the end of 2 periods. Zip, zip. AAA heavyweight championship match. And now Brad Henry of Dowling gets his choice. No, he decides not to go under. He's going to do it on his feet. Interesting choice.
He must, they've wrestled, and so they probably have wrestled, being in a couple of tournaments together.
Interesting choice. He may have felt that Purdy is dangerous on top. And they're both warned for stalling. Both warned for stalling. Now it's 1-0 in favor of Brad Henry.
And the excitement you hear is Brian Moritz from Northwood Kensett winning a state championship over Drew Brandt from Ackley, Geneva, 9-4 on the single A mat.
Double A, it's Lance Keller of Iowa Falls 6 and Niles Pavard of Osceola 5. 1 point lead with 30 seconds to go in a tough match. And the 1 point scored by Henry
gets a takedown to go ahead 3-0.
Had to be for a penalty, and 3-0 now after the first takedown of the match, so he knew what he was doing when he picked the on-the-feet position to start the third period.
The way Brad Henry rode Purdy in the second period gives him an advantage now with a minute left.
He comes on top, and Purdy was unable to get out in the whole second period. Henry has about 50 seconds to go.
Now they've called stalling on Brad Henry and given 1 point to Matt Purdy from Cedar Falls. Makes the score 3-1 with 35 seconds left.
3-1 in the AAA heavyweight match.
And the Iowa Falls wrestler, Lance Keller, has won a state championship for Coach Ron Jones, 7-5 in the AA match.
Undefeated year for Lance Keller.
34-0. Brian Moritz was also undefeated from Northwood Kensett, finishing 30-0.
Brad Henry fully in control. The score is 3-1. We have 2 seconds, 1 second. And West Des Moines Dowling in the last match of the 1989 Iowa High School Wrestling Championships has defeated Matt Purdy of Cedar Falls 3-1. And there they go. West Des Moines Dowling's winner, Brad Henry, for his coach Bob Dara.
There they go. Brad's going to hug them both.
Yeah. Now let's have the awards. We're going to have the awards first for 189, then the heavyweight. First 1A.
189-pound awards. Coach Jamie Ball of Lake Mills. 6th place, Lance Weiss, Holstein, Galva Holstein. 5th place, Brett Ryan, Underwood. 4th place, Corey McKibben, Kingsley Pearson. 3rd place, Jamie Bapke, Wapsie Valley Fairbank. 2nd place, Mike Funky, Edgewood Colesburg. And the 1A 189-pound champion from Lake Mills, Mike Isaacson.
And he gets to take a championship back to Northern Iowa. Make the trip worthwhile. The 1A team standings right now. Lisbon wins. Picked up an additional championship to widen the margin to 5, and Lorenz Marathon finishes 3rd for the 3rd place trophy behind Clarksville. Now we come to 2A at 189 pounds.
Presenting the Class 2A 189-pound awards, Coach Jay Hosky of Tama, South Tama. 6th place, Scott Warwick, Clarinda. 5th place, Steve Eischeid, Algona. 4th place, Chris Martin, Central Lee Donaldson. 3rd place, Todd Fokedal, Decorah. Runner-up, Dave Burba, Eagle Grove. And the 2A 189-pound champion from Tama, South Tama, Tyrone Roberts.
Big win for Tyrone. Here is the look, too, at the AA team championship figures at the end. Glenwood wins.
Please stay off
Good
of the
battle
match.
for 3rd, wasn't it? 2nd and 3rd. Eagle Grove and Storm Lake get the trophies. So now we go to the AAAs at 189 pounds.
Presenting the Class 3A 189-pound awards, Coach Don Huff of Waterloo West. 6th place, Harold Lovelady, Des Moines Roosevelt. 5th place, Ed Flynn, West Des Moines Dowling. 4th place, Eric Emsick, Lewis Central Council Bluffs. 3rd place, Justin Greenlee, Waverly Shellrock. Runner-up, Tony Berger, Harlan. And the 3A 189-pound champion from Waterloo West, Glenn Wilder.
And he won it with a big pin. Glenn Wilder. He'd be happy to have a look at the 3A standings because his team is right up there on top.
West.
Dowling and Prairie.
Dowling, Prairie. Jefferson had a great tournament coming in with a strong 4th place finish.
So we have yet to show you now the heavyweight place winners, the top 6. They're coming up on the stands. First of all, 1A again. Then we're going to be happy to show you the awarding of the team trophies.
Coach Ron Dodd of Northwood Kensett. 6th place, Gary Goler, Wapsie Valley Fairbank. 5th place, Kerry Keener, Monona MFL. 4th place, Shadron Silverstein, Winthrop, East Buchanan. 3rd place, Jay Malone, Morning Sun. Runner-up, Drew Brandt, Ackley, Geneva. And the 1A 275-pound champion from Northwood Kensett, Brian Moritz.
One more undefeated season. Brian Moritz had one. He won 30 matches without a loss and won the championship at 1A heavyweight. He had a tough match in the final, but he won it. Now we're going to go to AA, 275-pound class. And it'll be another undefeated champion here.
Presenting the Class 2A 275-pound awards, Coach Ron Jones of Iowa Falls. 6th place, Sean Berg, Osage. 5th place, Dan O'Hara, Waukon. 4th place, Bryce Tubal, West Lyon, Inwood. 3rd place, Rob Huber, DeWitt Central. 2nd place, Niles Havard, Osceola Clark. And the 2A 275-pound champion from Iowa Falls, Lance Keller.
That's Lance Keller. 2-time champion because he finished up on top there last year too. Undefeated this year in 34 matches. Now we're going to go to later tonight's schedule here. Is there Bix Lives is ahead of us. You like the traditional jazz and also Country Music USA. A little music ahead of you. You'll be ready for that, Tim.
You bet. I'm going to stay up for it.
It's coming up next. Let's see the awards at heavyweight in the AAA.
Duke Hempstead. 5th place, Chris Pleak, Council Bluffs AL. 4th place, Chris Reed, Cedar Rapids Prairie. 3rd place, Parker Wildeman, Cherokee, Washington. Runner-up, Matt Purdy, Cedar Falls. And the Class 3A 275-pound champion from West Des Moines Dowling, Brad Henry.
Well, he said in the paper today that I've been here 3 times and I want this one bad, and he wanted it bad enough. He got it. Brad Henry.
He won 3-1 over Matt Purdy at Cedar Falls at heavyweight. And we'll hear more about these heavyweight matches that were on other mats from the way our principal one from Dean Borg.
You've been already commenting on Brian Moretz of Northwood Kensett, who is the champion there at 275 pounds, or at least the heavyweight with a limit at 275. I just want to show you that being a coach, though, may be hazardous to your health if you're coaching a heavyweight champion. I asked Brian afterwards how much he really weighs. He said 235 pounds. So how would you like to be the coach on the receiving end of that? He decisioned Drew Brandt of Ackley, Geneva, 9-4. Well, Dick, that's it for tonight.
Okay, Dean, in the 2A competition at heavyweight, Lance Keller of Iowa Falls, also one of the big guys, came up with a 7-5 decision over Niles Havard of Osceola Clark. It was not in doubt, at least until the end of the 3rd period, when the score ended 7-5. Your champion there from Iowa Falls 2A competition, unlimited, Lance Keller.
Doug. Thank you, Dick. Good job, gentlemen. We're just in time to get the team trophies. We'll go out to Mo Kelly. He's just awarded the 3rd place trophy at 1A to Lorenz Marathon.
Our 2nd place team in Class 1A with 81.5 points, Coach Ron Peterson and Clarksville.
Last year's Coach of the Year, Ron Peterson, brings this year's 2nd place team trophy to Clarksville.
And they came so close. That was a race right into the final round.
And our 1A champions, 86.5 points, Coach Brad Smith and Lisbon.
Their 11th state championship at Lisbon. And they didn't start winning them until 1973, Doug, so they've won 11 out of the last 16 in 1A. And Brad Smith, that's his 6th.
11 championships for Lisbon. And they put it away, as we said, in the final round. Now let's go to double A.
51 points, Coach Kevin Besh and Storm Lake.
One of the Storm Lake wrestlers is Stacy Rice, who walked away tonight with his 3rd individual title.
Bob Dyer and Glenwood.
You heard Bob Dyer talk about sending 3 men to the finals. That made them the champions. They were way out in front coming into the final round.
I believe it's the first state championship of any kind in any sport for Glenwood. congratulations goes out to that town and Bob Dyer.
3A, third place with 104 points. Coach Jim Kimball, Cedar Rapids Prairie.
I'll make another guess. I'll bet that's the first time that a team scored 104 points and finished third.
Boy, isn't that something? This is Prairie.
Second place, 111 points. Coach Bob Dara, West Des Moines Dowling.
It's the fourth time that Dowling has scored more than 100 points and not won.
And not won a title.
And not won the title.
Here they come.
And it isn't over for these guys. It isn't over for Lisbon and several others who comes up with the state dual meet championship next week.
So we have one trophy yet to give.
And the 3A champions, 125 points, Coach Don Huff, Waterloo West.
Here they come, the champions of the 3A division, Waterloo West.
And they'll be looking forward to the state dual meets also. In fact, all three of our winners tonight are in the state dual meet championships and have a chance to double up, as they might say.
17th team championship for West Waterloo.
And the first for Coach Don Huff.
An amazing record for lots of these people. You see Lisbon with its 11th team championship, and Glenwood with its first.
Right, that's great.
So it's always nice to welcome a new one to the club.
Well, and listening to Coach Bob Dyer, it's the first of many, he hopes.
Yep, the 63rd annual high school wrestling championships. We've enjoyed it. As we say, it is a three-ring circus, a three-mat circus.
It's great, though.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, the whole season has been great because we've really enjoyed bringing you college wrestling and high school wrestling, the best of both. That college season, we had such good meets this year. We had the best teams in the country and had close matches, and it was about as interesting as any season we've seen. Well, and that has yet to be decided.
And if our viewers stay with us over the next several years, they'll see the young men that were wrestling out here tonight, like we talked about earlier in our college wrestling series.
Right. And we always love this big final showdown in the Iowa High School Wrestling Championships from Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines. And I don't know about you, but I get a kick out of working with the people we work with on this meet.
Producer Doug Brooker and the whole group,
everybody,
they deserve a lot of credit because it makes the job easy for us and
yeah,
the coaches.
Right.
The coaches that talk to us in the college series on conference calls, and I went around today and yesterday, talked to high school coaches and said, tell me about your kid, give me some interesting things about him. It makes us look awful good.
Yeah, it sure does. Sure does. They're a most helpful group of people, and we enjoy working with all of them. We really had a good time. Gives us something to do, keeps us off the street in the winter too, right?
Well, I'd like to thank you because it's been great working with you again this year.
Once again, let's go through those team champions for you. The 1A champion, Lisbon, coach is Brad Smith. Glenwood, that's the 11th team championship for them. Glenwood wins in AA for Coach Bob Dyer. That's their first. And Waterloo West walks away with number 17 at the AAA level. Coach is Don Huff. And we talked to all the coaches. Not a one of them could say a word. They were all talked out. They're worn out. And so are we. After a big night of wrestling in Vets Auditorium in Des Moines. And we want you to stay tuned for our evening program schedule. Mix Lives featuring the Michigan Nighthawks, followed by Country Music USA with Roy Clark and Ronnie Millsap and Charlie Rich, Lacey Dalton, and Johnny Lee. And that's next tonight.
I am staying up, I'll tell you.
On Iowa Public Television. And now, for Tim Johnson, Dean Borg, and Dick Trotter, who does such a great job on floor reporting, I'm Doug Brown. Good night for Iowa Public Television Sports.
Major funding for this program was provided by Friends of Iowa Public Television.